Hello, hello. Early stream today. I made sure that I got my life in order so that way I could stream early with y'all today. I hope y'all had a great weekend. I put the Patreon in the chat so you can go on ahead and join that. I have been more active because if you join the Patreon, you'll have access to all of like the dark femininity things. I also have an ebook on there that talks about male validation traps that you also get access to. And then you also get access to the Discord server. And the Discord server is more personal. So we have channels in there that talks about like money manifestation. So we'll share like YouTube channels that we follow that can, like help you make money or help you build more confidence. We'll share like personal wins and stuff like that over there on the Discord too. It's like a cute community for us to have. Within the Patreon. So if that's something that you would like to join, I have the link there. I also have a deal with Glow Melanin. It is a Black owned skincare company. They have all types of skincare. Turmeric is like the main source ingredient that they use, and like it's been doing my skin good, like even under my makeup, like my skin's looking good. I've been using their products, and I emailed them to change the code, but it's actually my first name, so my real first name. So it's actually MEGAN, just common spelling of Megan, and then 82204. So 82204. You can use that for 15% off. And then if you would like some self-pleasure toys, Womanizer, that's who I also have another brand deal with. You can use the code AFF-Queen and you can get some money off over there. They have women and men toys. They even have like a whole like they have like box sets. So if you want to like do stuff alone or do stuff with your partner with some toy stuff, you all can use AFF-Queen for some money off of that. The wig is not sponsored. I have worked with OQ Hair before, but I bought this wig with my own money. Okay, so if you are interested in this wig, I think it's the Body Wave. It's a Glueless Body Wave by OQ. O as in open, Q as in Quincy. You can get the wig from there. And the glue is just a lace melting spray. Okay, it's just lace melting spray. I got it at the beauty supply store forever ago. I got it like a summer ago, and I think the brand is like Bellatia. Sorry, I'm just answering all these questions because people been asking in the comments. So it's just easier for me to address it at the beginning of the stream. Okay, now that we got all that off of the table. Okay, so I haven't made any stripper content in a while. Reason being is because most of that stuff is over on the Patreon. So I don't really talk a whole lot about it on the main channel, but I do know that there was a comment that was left on a video and a lot of people liked it in regards to just me sharing more about my experiences with stripping and kind of the picture that it painted for me in regards to men, in regards to women, and just in regards to life in general. Okay. So if you are not familiar and if you're new here, I actually danced in a strip club from 2012 until 2016. So I actually danced like straight away after I had graduated from high school. Reason being was because I couldn't get a loan. I couldn't get anyone to co-sign really a loan for me for college. And so essentially I was like, you know what? I need to go to college. I want to get my education. So I'm going to go on ahead and I'm going to strip. But I took pole dance classes before that. And that kind of segued me into deciding that I wanted to start dancing. Okay. And that was, I liked dancing for the first couple years. The last couple years were kind of rough. Okay. The last couple years were kind of rough. Also, being so young with dancing, obviously there's a level of naivete that all women have in regards to men. So to kind of come in with that level of naivete coming into the club, I had to learn pretty quickly about their behavior and about who they are. And because I've already made this type of content before, I'm going to first address any of the BS comments that people are going to leave, because it's human behavior, and people take this type of content very, very they take it real personal, because it really does attack their internal belief system, men and women. So there will be women that are going to comment, and they're going to say this is men and women. They're going to say, this is only for men in the strip club. And my rebuttal to that is that if it's only the men in the strip club and you're a woman commenting this, why are you pissed off about who your man is following on Instagram? Why are you pissed off about your man watching porn? Why are you pissed off about your man paying for OnlyFans? If it's only this sector of men that are in the club that act like this, how come women are complaining about these other things that are outside of the strip club? You literally have women making think pieces about how their partners cheated on them they're feeling like they're getting cheated on because the guy's looking at a girl on Instagram that looks nothing like her. She found out that he's using her money. He's not even able to go 50-50 on the rent, but he's over here maxing out credit cards to go pay for a woman on OnlyFans. He can't be intimate. He can't be intimate with her because he's addicted to watching porn on his phone. But you mean to tell me that it's only the men that go to the strip club? So that's the first thing, okay? That's the first thing. The second thing, this is because you're having this is, once again, your experiences are just shaped by those types of men. Being in the strip club is the reason why I haven't had terrible experiences with men, which is one of the things that working in the strip club taught me. All men, at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, when you've spent time with a man, when you've been in a relationship with a man, when you've been married to a man, when it's all said and done, most women are going to walk away from experiences with men, and they're going to look back and say that the experience was mediocre. The experience was lackluster. And when all women share their experience, there will be things that will parallel. The timing may be different. His job may be different. His race may be different. His tactic of manipulation will be different. But at the end of the day, there are common themes amongst all women when they're talking about men that align perfectly. And so that's essentially with stripping. You meet all of these men. One of them might be a blue collar worker. One of them may be a semi-truck driver. One of them may be a doctor. One of them may be a CEO. They literally all have the same infatuation. Just like how women are claiming, women and men are claiming, it's only the men that are in the strip club, but yet they have access to women, sexualizing women, looking at women as objects. They're all the same. They're all the same at the end of the day, because that's the number one thing that they care about. Men are always going to pretend like they're going to try to downplay it as much as they can to make it seem as if they're not fixated on sleeping with you. These men are fixated on sleeping with you, regardless. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how nice they are to you. It doesn't matter how long they court you. At the end of the day, their main goal is to sleep with you. And the thing about it too is that these beauty standards or whatever, this was another thing that I realized with men. These men don't care about these beauty standards. I worked with women who were using the drug that starts with H and ends with N. I can't say it here on YouTube. These women had obvious track marks. These women were clearly high off of their minds. These women would sell it for $100. Do you think that stopped these men from sleeping with these women? Do you think that stopped these men from thinking I'm going to contract some disease maybe if she's not protected? Do you think men really have a standard when that's the thing that they're in pursuit of? So that taught me already. Men genuinely don't care. They're all in pursuit of the same exact thing. And if they can't get the thing that they want the most, if they can't get the baddie, if they can't get the super beautiful woman, if they can't get that woman, they don't care how far into the pits of hell they have to go to scratch that itch. They're going to do it. And they're going to do it for the cheapest too. Because ironically, that girl who was doing that, she was selling herself for this super cheap price too. Super cheap price, because obviously she was addicted. She just needed to make sure she had enough money so that way she could, get her fix, obviously. These men didn't care. You could have been the prettiest girl. You could have been the prettiest girl working at the club. If you're charging $30 for a dance, and little Miss High Girl is over here selling to sleep with her for $100, these men, you think that a man's going to sit here and be like, pretty girl, $30 dance. Addicted girl, $100 to sleep with her. Oh my God, which one? No, men are logistical. They're going to just look at the fact of, I'm saving $70. I'm saving $70 to be able to sleep with someone. I'm just going to go ahead and sleep with her. I'll just turn her around. I'll just have her back be facing me. I'll just think of somebody else while we're doing it. Problem solved. So these whole things of like men saying that they have all of these standards, they really don't have these standards like they claim that they do. And this works on the reverse end too. Honestly, it works on the reverse end. Men will try to make it seem as if like, oh, you have to be so perfect. This is like for women that are just so fixated on having to like fit these ridiculous beauty standards and like do all of this craziness, you know what I mean, in hopes that like these men are going to like you more, you're going to gain their validation, they're going to respect you more, yada yada yada. I can never say her name. Real Red Witch. She's here on YouTube. She's over on TikTok. She says it all the time. Men don't have enough leverage to pick, choose, and refuse. They don't. Men do not have enough leverage in the dating market to pick, choose, and refuse. This is something that in stripping, it's been consistent all across the board in my experience. Men do not have enough leverage to pick, choose, and refuse. So as a woman, I highly, highly urge you to just quit thinking about their opinion. I highly urge you to stop living your life based off of what they have in their brain or what you think that they have in their brain when it comes to their perception of you. They're only looking, as I just explained to you, they're only looking for one thing. And it may not, obviously, in the strip club, the one thing can be very obvious for a lot of them for what they're actually looking for, if they're willing to pay for it and if they're willing to, pay whatever price the girl is offering up. But essentially, all they care about is what is in it for me. How can I get whatever it is that I want? They don't care what package it's in. They don't care. So like, I really want women to just stop caring. I really want women to stop caring. Do you think that I have like a full sleeve of tattoos and I'm over here filled with regret? Like, oh my God, I got a sleeve of tattoos. No man's gonna want me. I was on the TikTok live stream before here, and some Dusty, he got ignored the whole time. He got ignored the whole time, but he just kept on typing and typing and typing. Those tattoos, he was being sarcastic. Those tattoos, so feminine. The nose ring, so feminine. I'm sure if you got even more tattoos, you would be so feminine. You know what I mean? And essentially essentially what he's trying to do is shame he's trying to shame somebody to make it seem like, oh, you're not fitting this sector of femininity that you should be fitting, and so I'm going to try to make you feel bad about that, knowing damn well that if there was a row of 10 women and he only had access to 10 women, and 9 of those women did not want him, and I was the only one that wanted him, he wouldn't be giving a fuck about my tattoos, because men are not in a position to pick, choose, and refuse. Men have to take what they can get. So it's a waste of time sitting here thinking like, I wish I would have never done this. I wish I would have never done that. Oh my God, I'm like tainted and I'm used goods and they're never going to be pleased with anything. They're never going to be pleased with anything. It's always going to be something more. Once you give into one thing with men, they're going to want you to give into another thing. And that's another thing too, boundary breaking. In the strip club, most of the time, the customers would understand, you're in the club, there's boundaries here. You must respect these boundaries, right? But of course, you would get customers who they don't want to respect your boundaries. You know what I mean? They don't want to respect your boundaries. Hey, you're allowed to touch me. You're allowed to touch me during the dance, but like, you know where you're not supposed to touch me or not. They will try to touch you in inappropriate places anyway. Okay, now you got to sit on your hands during the dance because you don't know how to follow rules. You know what I mean? You're dancing like full nude or whatever, and they're over here trying to put one in their mouth while you're over here giving a dance, and it's like constantly trying to push boundaries, even when you're doing something that they want you to do. They still want to try to push your boundaries. So this is another thing that women have to understand. If you're dealing with men, you have to like pretty much be prepared for them to see your boundaries as a challenge. Most of the time, these men are not going to sit here and listen to your boundaries and be like, okay, okay, that's fine. No, in most cases, they're not. A lot of the time, your boundaries, and in my experience, no matter how nice a guy was, he was nice until I said, hey, I don't like it when you do such and such. I don't like it when you do. Can we make sure that you don't do that again? Oh, well, why? And it was okay before, and you don't love me if you're saying that I can't do that. They're going to come up with every type of excuse possible to try to gaslight you out of wanting to uphold and keep your own boundaries. Because men would do it in the club. Oh, I'll pay you $10 extra. I'll pay you $10 extra if you do this. I'll pay you this much money if you do that. They're constantly trying to barter. They're constantly trying to barter with you to try to get you to do more things that you're really not comfortable with doing. They're doing this out on the dating market. They're doing the same exact thing on the dating market. In the dating market, they're trying to use commitment, fidelity, status, relationship status. Oh, well, I would actually have you be my girlfriend. We wouldn't be in a situationship anymore if you would just let me do XYZ. So instead of them bartering you with money, they're now trying to barter you with something else that they know that you would want. This is why the whole thing when women are like, when they try to create this hierarchy of like women who have worked at the club or they've been on OnlyFans or yada, 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 women will try to create this hierarchy, and it's like, no, they're doing the same thing. They're doing the same thing to every woman that's in front of them. It's just that men in a setting where money is required, they understand that money is their way of bartering. When they're not in a predicament and it's a romantic setting and they know that what you want is love, they're going to do a level less of what you want them to do, and then to get you to break your boundaries, they're going to dangle the thing that you would want. You'll do, like, you're going to set a boundary. My wife wouldn't do this. That's why you're not mine. That's why you're not getting the ring. That's why I'm not going to marry you, because you won't let me do XYZ. You keep questioning me. You keep asking me all these questions. Yeah, because they're trying to use something against you, knowing that you want that thing to groom you into breaking your own boundaries. So really, I say all that to say, this is why I'm always going to say, if you're not getting money from these men, if you're not getting money from these men, there is nothing else that they're able to give you that you can translate into it actually benefiting you in some form. It's not. Them saying that they love you, them claiming, because here's the thing, no woman can sit here and have irrefutable proof of the fact that her man is not cheating. You can always be you can find irrefutable proof that your man is cheating. You cannot find irrefutable proof that your man is not cheating. You just are projecting the fact, oh, he's not cheating. I know him well enough. No, you know that version of him well enough, because y'all's husbands be in the strip club paying women money. Y'all's husbands be on OnlyFans maxing out the credit cards. Y'all husbands be on Instagram following women that look completely different than you. That's why you're feeling some type of way, because in your brain, you know him, you know a version of him, you know his representative that he needs to be able to get a wife, because he already knows if you knew him 100%, you wouldn't want to deal with him. This is why a lot of the time these men throw you off guard. These men completely shock you, because in your brain, you're like, this is him. This is what he's showing me. He's showing other people a completely different side of him. And the men are just coming with different tactics, different professions, different races. They're all doing the same shit. They're just doing it in different ways. So the whole love thing, it's not going to save you. The whole love thing, oh, I'm going to stay pure. I care about morality. I don't want these men to think that I'm a 304. I don't want these men to think that I'm a hoe. Yada, 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 yada. Okay, you can think that all you want. But at the end of the day, that's not going to stop men from putting themselves in a position, in a predicament where they're grooming you. They're grooming you, and they're teaching you how to make yourself be of benefit to them. And someone mentioned the hysterectomy thing. I'm going to make a short form video about it later, because I know not everyone makes my live streams, but I was actually sent the video by someone yesterday. And the video was talking about how she got a hysterectomy at 22, and she wanted to kind of like facilitate like a support situation for her hysterectomy. So she got on Facebook, and she had joined like a ton of like support groups, just so that she knew what she was getting into and kind of be prepared for the hysterectomy and all the things that came along with it. She said that in these groups, a lot of women were saying that post hysterectomy, these men these are their husbands, these are their boyfriends, breaking boundaries, literally forcing these women, after they've been cut up, ripped up, stitched together, and still forcing their wives to sleep with them under the guise of commitment, under the guise of, if you don't let me do it, I'm just going to cheat on you then. If you don't do it, you must not love me then. See how the price is different, and how in one you feel more obligated and one you don't. At least at the club, I could just grab security. At the club, I can grab security and I can have his ass get kicked out. I can have the police come and I could press charges. The girls that are on OF, they can block the person. Instagram, they can block the person. When you're married to these men, when you're in a relationship with these men, who are you gonna call? Who are you gonna call and they're gonna do something straight away? There were women in the comments of that video saying that like they work in labor and delivery, and the women post delivery, they're having to rip the husbands off of their wife because they literally just gave birth. And not only in less than 12 hours later, they're over here essentially trying to R word this woman. They're over here trying to R word a woman that has just pushed anywhere between a minimum of like 5 to 8 pound human outside of herself. I mean, there were even women in the comments saying that the men will go after the ostomy bag. If you're not familiar what the ostomy is, it's when they have to make an incision in your colon and you pretty much have to poop in a bag. And they'll take the bag off because it's a hole. And there are men that literally will put their hole in a woman's colon. And if you've ever smelled an ostomy, if you've ever smelled an ostomy bag before, it's the worst smell that you could ever smell. It's the worst smell that you could ever smell. And that there are women in the comments saying that they do that. They will literally put their thing in an ostomy in somebody's colon. They will put it in there. So this whole thing of like, oh, like if I'm married and if I have a husband, a lot of the time these men are marrying women and getting in relationships with women, and you're not even a woman to them. You're a blow up doll. You're a blow up doll, and all they have to do to use you is just say that I love you, I care about you, give you flowers, give you compliments, and then you'll turn into a blow up doll for them. That's literally how they're looking at it. The women in the club, the women that are in S work, we already understand we're a blow up doll to them. We already understand that we're a blow up doll to them. So we understand, okay, this is how they're viewing us. These are the protections that need to be implemented, and this is what I need to receive, and these are the boundaries that I have to make sure that XYZ does not happen. The women that are in S work already understand that this is how men are viewing you. It's not until these women are knee deep in with these men in a relationship, in a marriage, they've had their children. It's the sunk cost fallacy. It's a sunk cost fallacy. You start feeling obligated to do these things that you don't want to do with a man because you've already invested so much. And the thing about it is that these men, especially like post-birth, these men understand that women are at their most vulnerable time, because what do women fear the most? Being a single mom. Women are fearing being a single mom. So it's not only the fact of, oh my God, he might cheat on me, but it's also, this might end our marriage and I may have to raise this child alone. These men know what they're fucking doing. These men know the thoughts that you are having in your brain, that you're freaking out over, to have put yourself in these positions where you're doing things that you don't want to do. There was never a time when I worked in the strip club that I did something that I did not want to do. There never was a time that I ever did something that I did not want to do. Because if that ever happened, I cut everything off and I go get security. I go get someone and they will take care of that person. Anytime someone violated my boundaries, I got someone else to take care of it. You don't have that level of protection when you're in a relationship. You don't have that type of protection when you're in a marriage. The police are going to sit here and say, I can't do anything. A restraining order is only a piece of paper. It's only a piece of paper. You can tell these people that are in power, these people that are the police, you can tell them all day long, like, oh yeah, this and this happened to me. They don't care. A lot of these people that are in these positions, there's a lot of misogyny that runs rampant through there anyway. There are literally women out here filing reports on their husband and saying, like, well, how dare you not sleep with your husband when he wanted it? He has needs. There are literally police officers that have said this to women. Literally said this for women, because the thing about it is that, like I said before, they just see you as a blow up doll, and they just see you as being permanent. They see you as being permanent, and it's for the one-time payment of a wedding, a wedding ring and a wedding. That's how men look at it. I've paid my investment, I paid my cost, I bought the ring, I paid for the wedding. I have access to everything. She cannot refuse me. She cannot have any boundaries in this situation. Never be afraid to get out of these situations. Never be afraid. Don't ever be afraid to say, you want to know what? Then go cheat on me. Go cheat on me. I literally had an ex do that to me. Didn't want to sleep with me. Obviously couldn't sleep with the person that he was cheating on me with. Obviously, I'm turned off of him. So now I don't want to sleep with him. And technically, we weren't even together. But even if we were together, I still wouldn't have even done it, trying to make a move on me. And I'm like, no, I don't want to. Well, you constantly doing this and you repeatedly doing that. You do know that that's just going to make me go sleep with someone else, right? Okay, go sleep with someone else. Go sleep with someone else. I'm not going to give you the okay. I'm not going to ever give a man a pass to normalize that it's okay for you to just say, screw my boundaries, and try to use like cheating, infidelity, and love and commitment as a form of coercion, because that's essentially what it is. That's a form of coercion. Oh, if I can get her to do this if I promise commitment. And guess what? A lot of the time these men are still going to cheat. Imagine putting yourself in a predicament where you did something that you didn't want to do, because these women are getting infections. These women are contracting all types of things when these men are doing these things like post-op, with birth, with hysterectomy. Imagine doing all of that, breaking your boundaries for someone, and then they still cheat on you. They're still paying for access to other women. There's no guarantee. There's no guarantee that you doing these things in the first place. They're just telling you that. They're just telling you that because they want it that badly. If a man is willing to stick his pee in an ostomy, he's more than willing to tell you anything it is that you want to hear to sleep with you. It's really that simple. If they want something that bad, they're going to say whatever it is that they need to say to be able to put themselves in a predicament that they can get what they want. And I've seen it time and time again at the club. Time and time again at the club with women. I literally dance with girls crying after giving dances to these men, because they'll do these dances with these men, and then during the dance, these men will coerce them and be like, I'll give you more money if you do this. I'll give you more money if I do that. And they just pay them what the cost was for the dance. They pay them what the cost was for the dance, because technically that's all that they're really obligated to pay, because it hasn't happened in a setting where more would be required. I've had girls crying, feeling terrible. He told me he was going to pay me this amount of money, and so I did XYZ, and he doesn't have the money to pay me. He can only pay for the money. And in my head, I'm thinking, like, how come you just didn't get the money from him first? How come you didn't get the money from him first? You can't let these guys just say anything to you in hopes that they're going to give you money for you to do more. No, you're already given the dances. So technically, all they have to pay for is the dances. You don't do more without getting something from them first. You don't. Never, ever, ever. So it's just kind of one of those things where it's like they're treating everyone the same way. And even in that setting, there are women that are falling for it. There are women that are falling for it. No, be difficult. Be difficult. When you're dealing with men, you really only have one of two options: be perceived as a difficult bitch, be perceived as a difficult bitch, or be perceived as somebody that they can get over on. There's no in between. There's no in between. It's two extremes. Men are either going to see you as a bitch, they can't handle you, you're difficult, you're angry, you're bitter, or they're going to look at you as stupid, submissive, easy to use, easy to manipulate, soft spoken. That's how that there is no in between. You have to learn, okay, which one am I going to choose? Which one am I going to choose? I much rather be perceived as a bitch if it means that my boundaries weren't broken and I wasn't violated. That's the reason why they're going to call you a bitch. That's the reason why they're going to call you angry. That's the reason why they're going to call you bitter. They're going to call you all those things because, of course, they can't get what they want out of you. Like, no, you're not going to shame me into compliance so that way you can get what you want and I get nothing out of this. Absolutely not. Once you realize that over the span of time dealing with men, they all turn no matter how kind they are, because that's the thing, the timeline is different for all the men. I can't stand the whole timeline that they're always giving women. If he marries you after 6 months, he likes you. It shouldn't take longer than 2 years or however long it should take for a man to marry you. Okay, even during that time, the man can still change. The man could still change over that span of time. The girls in the strip club, these men, for them, it's a safe space. We already know who they are. Okay, the people come in regularly, the customers, you typically see the same person. You already know. Okay, so and so wants you to dance this way. So and so is cheap. He's only going to get one dance. So and so is, Mr. Grab Ass. He's like very, very handsy. You already know what you're prepared for when you're seeing these same men, because the way that they look at it, they're paying for it either way. They're like, I'm getting what I want to pay for. These men that aren't paying, these average men that women are like marrying, these average men that women are getting into a relationship with, their payment is just under the guise of like all of these promises. And once they feel as though you're actually believing these promises that they're making, they're going to turn at some point. They're going to expose who they are at some point, because they understand, like, it seems like a safe space now. It seems like a safe space now where I can actually be the person that I truly am, because like she's invested so much time and I have more to lose. The men that are on Instagram, OnlyFans, strip club, do you think they have anything to lose? Do you think a man coming into the strip club is like, I'm afraid that so and so isn't gonna want me to pay her anymore because I have this weird fetish? They don't have anything to lose. They don't have anything to lose by us knowing that. They don't even know our real name. They don't even know our real name. And the men understand, well, okay, if she thinks that it's weird, I'll go ask somebody else, and I'll keep asking. And eventually someone will accept my payment for what it is that I want them to do. They understand that in that type of setting. Men can't leverage that out in the real world, because the men understand that you've been sold a lie about what these men have to look like. Men understand that you've been sold a lie on the expectation that men have to have. So they understand, okay, I have to uphold this expectation to get what I want. And as long as I uphold this expectation, even though I don't want to do it, this isn't who I really am, I don't like doing this, I will just do it to get what I want. And then once I feel as though I got everything that I want, and I kind of feel as though I don't have really anything to lose by being in this situation, well, then I'll go and I'll revert back to the person that I really am, the person that I'm actually comfortable being. And then, boom, that's who they're going to be. That's who you're going to be. That's the reason why these conversations, when like women who worked in the industry or currently work in the industry, this content's always going to be polarizing because it completely ruins the structure, and it ruins the picture that's been painted of men to women for centuries. I mean, for a really, really, really long time. No, who they are, when the true man, where his money is going is truly, it's who he is. The person that he's paying money to and giving money to, he's usually giving money to that woman because that's the person that can see who he truly is. Okay? Like, I'm just keeping it real with you. Men understand, for me to be my true self and for me to get my needs met and for me to do the things that I truly want to do, men understand that they have to pay for that. That's the reason why they go to these great lengths to pay money to get these needs met, because that's what they really want. That's who they really are. They just understand that that version of them is not the version that you deem as likable, because that's who they are. You don't like them by nature. This is the reason why they shame women that go into S work. Yeah, they shame women that go into S work because those women understand this is who they really are. This is who they really are. Men, money is a big deal to men. Okay, money is a very, very, very big deal to men. You want to see who a man really is, see where he is spending his money. And see where he is spending his money in relation to women. That's how you will know who a man truly is. Where is his wallet going? Men understand the concept of money very, very well. They have a tight grip on money, and they have a tight grip on where that money goes. Where he is spending money, that's where he wants to be, because that's most likely where he can be himself. And once that woman that's getting the money realizes, okay, I don't like this anymore. This is weird. This is creepy. This is making me feel uncomfortable. Because that's the thing. Don't nobody want to have that permanent. You think these men that I danced in the club with that were paying me money, you think I want to live under the same roof as them and marry them and deal with them when they're at their most comfortable? No. That's the reason why they have to perform and be a different person, because they understand, even if you're paying a woman money, no woman wants to deal with that all the time. For them to truly be who they are, it's no amount of money that you could pay a woman for her to want to consistently deal with that. Because that's the thing. Once you let a man do it once, he's going to want to do it all the time. And then he's going to be getting, oh, let's do this, let's do that. He's going to up the ante. It's just going to keep escalating more and more and more and more and more. They're going to get more and more comfortable. And it's going to be so outside of a realm that women are comfortable with. And then women will wonder why men will seek out other women, or why they found out that the woman that they're dealing with on the side is completely different than her. She's completely different because it's a version of him that he is able to express with that woman that he understands he can't express that side with you. He doesn't feel comfortable with you. So he needs to go to someone where he knows that he has nothing to lose. These men that are married and that are in relationship, it's their persona. It's their persona that would be in jeopardy. And for a lot of these men, this patriarchal upstanding of being a husband and being a father, that's like their Roman Empire. That's something that they really, really, that they need to rely on that to get ahead in life, because that's the system that's been created. That's the expectation that has been met, that they have to reach to be considered masculine, to be considered a man, to be considered accomplished. Like, there literally was one guy that I was talking to, that I was dealing with, and he's like, I'm not ready to have kids, but also like I'm afraid about not being ready to have kids because of my grandparents. And I'm like, what does your grandparents have to do with anything? He's like, well, my grandparents are getting old and I want them to be able to see me have children because like I just know it's a big accomplishment. Like, no. Like, that, to me, that's stupid. To me, that's dumb. To me, that's stupid. Your grandparents, they're not even going to live long enough for them to really see, because he's, it's going to be a while before he has children. I already know. But in my brain, I'm just kind of like, why is that even a thought in the back of your head? Why is that it? Why is that even in the back of your head? Even some OF models mention they have to do more and more fringe, extreme, or novel stuff to keep up in the ante to keep their fan base of subscribers interested. Desensitization, escalation, 1,000%, 1,000%. I actually did OnlyFans for a little bit. And child, that's why I stopped. That's why I stopped. I got tired of the club. I got tired of the club the last like year, specifically out of my 4 years of dancing. OnlyFans was like a different beast. OnlyFans was a different beast because it's that parasocial relationship. It's that freedom that they get having access to be able to talk to you. This is the reason the men are becoming who they're becoming, because they have way too much access to women. I'm going to make a separate live stream about that. Because guess what? Society keeps upping the ante with the access that they are giving, that the access of, hold on. They keep upping the ante on the access of women that they're giving to men. And so this is the reason why they're acting the way that they're acting. They have way, way, way too much access to women. So now, instead of these men being able to watch porn, they can watch the girl doing the act, and then they can have a whole conversation with her. They can have a whole conversation with this girl. And so guess what they start thinking? Oh, I could just tell this girl whatever. I could have her do whatever. And because she's on here and she needs my money, and if she needs it that bad, she's going to do whatever it is that I tell her. Because a part of it is control too. This is the reason why, even with dancing, that level of vulnerability, when they see that women are in S work, the men understand that for a majority of women, a lot of the women there, they're in a vulnerable state. A lot of them are in a very vulnerable state, and they're in a state of desperation. Men like to have that level of control over women. So then men say, you want to know what? Because it's a form of humiliation. If they know that you need the money, they love the power that they have over you, knowing that you need the money. And so they will have you do more humiliating things. And guess what? Just like they're doing this with the OnlyFans girls, with the strippers, or doing this with the S workers, they're doing it with their wives. They're doing it with their girlfriends. This is why they'll meet you and they see you're ambitious and you're out here making a ton of money. And then out of nowhere, once you're pregnant, they don't want you to work anymore. Oh, don't work. Get rid of your job. I want you to be at home with the kids. Okay, well, guess what? Now they know that you need them. Now they know that you have to depend on them. Now they have the control and the power over you to say, I don't want you doing this. I don't want you doing that. I'm not going to buy this for you. You have to ask me permission to do this. They're literally doing the same exact thing. Because they would much rather you be in a situation where you're desperate. They're always going to exploit a woman being desperate, either by knowing that she's already desperate, when she's in a situation such as being an S work, or they will create an artificial circumstance in which you have to be desperate. Any man that is trying to come into your life and he's trying to make it seem as if he's doing you a favor, making your life easier, giving you less things to think about. When a man never trust a man that wants you to think less. Never ever trust a man that is trying to say that it's going to make your life easier if he takes over XYZ. That's the reason why I hated that trend, or when women say, when I'm with the man, I shut my brain off. When I'm with the man, I don't want to think. Are you 5 years old? Like grown adult women are literally sitting here saying, I shut my brain off when I'm with my man. I don't want to think about anything when I'm with my man. And that's how they want you to think. That's how they want you to think. They don't want you to think at all. Because guess what? When you're not thinking, that means they get to control you. So this is why you always have to put yourself in a predicament where you're not desperate. You always have to put yourself in a predicament where you don't need to have your hand out for anything, because when you're in a predicament where you don't need to have your hand out for anything, a man got to meet you where you are. A man got to meet you where you are. If I'm paying all of my bills, if I'm funding my lifestyle, that's where you got to meet me. Anything less than that, you're invisible. You don't exist. It's really that simple. This is the reason why they don't want women to be in any type of position where they can have financial freedom. They can be able to make enough money to not need anyone. This is why, oh, you have an education. We don't care about your degrees. Yeah, because men don't want to be wanted. They want to be needed, because men understand they're not worthy of being wanted. I mean, I just explained to y'all what they're doing. They're literally putting their ding-a-ling in open colons. This is the reason why they want to be needed. They don't want to be wanted. Because if they had a clone of themselves, they wouldn't even want them. So they have to create these situations in which you're desperate to get you to need them. No. Men understand. Men in plain sight are repeatedly telling women the perception that they have of themselves. Every time that men talk about these standards that they have, every single time that they say it, all they're doing is admitting the fact that they don't like themselves. All they're doing is painting the picture that they view themselves and other men as gross. They view them and themselves in other men as disgusting. That's why they say things like, your value goes down when you sleep with men, and men's value goes up when they sleep with women, because that would imply that men are dirty. That would imply that men are impure. If a man gets to be attached to a woman and be better, that means that women have more value and women have more purity naturally than men. Which also admits the fact that these men are sleeping with other men. It also implies that these men they're getting their experience with other men, because if women's value is crashing like the fucking stock market dealing with men, and they have to sleep, if they have a high body count, these men get all these value, but they don't want women to sleep with men. Well, then who are you sleeping with? You're obviously sleeping with other men then to get your experience, which tracks because that's what they used to do. They used to just sleep with other men. And I have like a whole theory on that too. Yeah, that's the reason why that whole Boss Babe, they were the media and the manosphere, they were on this full attack to like completely dismantle the whole Boss Babe era. And then women were like, I'm tired of working, I'm just gonna find a man to take care of me, and yada yada yada. Ciao. Like, obviously, of course you don't want boss babes obviously you don't want to men dirt, women pure. Exactly. Obviously you don't want women to have access or be able to do any of these things. Men understand that they don't have any value. Men understand that they know what they're doing, and they know what they're doing with other men. I personally think that by nature men are gay. I can do a live stream on that, but I remember, so I had this like epiphany when I was younger. And remember when you were younger and you would watch movies with your parents, and then the scene would come on, that scene would come on, and the first thing your parents do, you can't look at that, you can't look at that, you can't look at that. And the thing that always would boggle my mind is that one thing, did you ever notice that those scenes kind of would like come out of nowhere? Those scenes would come out of nowhere. And I used to always ask myself, they don't give you a warning. If they didn't want children, like if they didn't want young kids to not see that, they would give a warning in the movie, not have you see like 2 seconds of what's about to happen and then close your eyes. Because guess what? What's that going to cause? That's going to cause for you to be curious. Why are you covering my eyes? Why are you covering my eyes? Like, I've already seen the beginning of this. Why are you covering my eyes? Okay, obviously children are going to want to see more of what's going on. Okay, the media purposely makes imprints on people's brains to normalize what you should be doing, and they do that shit when you're a child. They do that when you are a child. A lot of this whole, oh, you need to be doing this. A lot of it is for capitalism. If men were gay like they want to be, who would be having children? Who would they be having children with? Who would be fueling capitalism? How would they have workers to work for corporations? Why would they be putting sex scenes in movies? Why would they be putting that in the media for everybody to see? If it wasn't a natural thing, if it was not the first thing to go to. Because everything that you watch, everything that you listen to, it's an intentionality backed by the people that own those corporations. It's backed by the people that review these things to make sure that you see what it is that they want you to see. And when you look at capitalism, if they never show, how different would the world be if they were not showing that stuff in movies to make you more curious? How different would the world be if you didn't have that imagery and be exposed to it at like a pretty young age? I turned out by women preferred 80 to 90%. Pretty much same here. Same here. Because they understand, and it's another thing too. It wouldn't have to be this push for men to get married and for men to have a wife if by nature they weren't gay. In my opinion, when you have to put a rule on anything, in my opinion, when you have to push something hard, it's because by nature they would do the opposite. They would be doing the opposite. Every rule, you have to think of it like this. Every rule in a rule book is created because people kept doing something. They kept repeatedly doing something. So they had to create a rule to make sure that people would not do that thing. That's how rules are created. No one just comes up with a rule. No one just comes up with a rule. They see repeated behavior over time and they say, It's impacting us this way. It's impacting us that way. We don't like what that can affect. So we're going to create a rule. I highly doubt that without rules in place, without patriarchy, these men would be sitting here actually being heterosexual. I highly doubt that. But capitalism can't thrive with a bunch of homosexual men because they can't have any babies. And the thing about it is this. This is what I think. This is the reason why I don't stop it at homosocial. This is the reason why I don't stop it at homosocial. If patriarchy is teaching men how to be men by not being a woman, that's what patriarchy is. Patriarchy is not teaching men how to be a man. Patriarchy is teaching men how to not be a woman. That's the reason why they hate women. You're naturally going to hate a group of people that you're taught how to not be like. Makes sense, right? Makes sense, right? Which means that you're taught to like the same group of people. If your validation as a man makes you homosocial, how would you not be sexually attracted to that same gender? Because as women, you have to realize, aren't women trained to like the validation from men more than women? Yes. Yes. Women care more about the opinions of men more than women. So for the grooming, women are groomed more to be heterosexual than men are. Men are more so groomed to be homosocial and homosexual, because whoever you want the validation from, that gives you whenever you receive validation, that's a dopamine hit. Every time you receive validation, that's a hit of dopamine. You mean to tell me you're not going to be attracted to someone that's giving you a hint of dopamine? Yes, you are. You're going to be attracted to the very thing that is giving you a hint of dopamine. Receiving validation gives you a form of dopamine. So if they've been trained to care more about male validation while also being conditioned to hate women by not acting like women, how would they not be attracted to men when that's who's giving them the dopamine hit? That's who's giving them the form of validation. The only reason why they care so much about, the only reason why they have to consider what women think about them or their ability to get the access to women, because they got to prove to the whole world that they're not gay. Patriarchy essentially is just conditioning men to use women to prove that they're not gay. Even Cam Newton admitted that. Cam Newton literally was talking about how he would go to the strip club, and back in the time, it kind of was in my time. It definitely wasn't at the peak, but like early 2000s, the strip club culture, the tricking culture, that's like peak. Like that's like a peak time. And the thing about it is that men weren't throwing all this money on these women because they like these women. Cam Newton literally admitted that it was just deemed as like a competition amongst men, and women are just a prop. So once again, it's validation. They're using women as a prop in the form of validation that they could receive by one another by seeing who can spend the most money. Yeah, bro, you showed out tonight. You showed out tonight. The man is not over here thinking, yeah, she deserves all this money. She looks beautiful. She's so talented. Let me spend money on her. He may be thinking it, but it's not in the forefront of his mind. It's not in the forefront of his mind. That's the reason why we live in a culture now where you got men at the club sitting on top of the side stages. You got men sitting on top of the bar, standing on top of the bar, dancing like it's Coyote Ugly, because we are no longer in a predicament where men are competing with men. Men are getting closer Men are getting even closer with other men. Instead of it being over how much money they could spend, men are bonding with other men based off of how much they can hate women. The currency is just different. It's no longer about money. Now it's about how can we bond together? How can we bond together closer as men surrounding our hatred of women? So it's like, no. And even in the club, I'm just kind of like, I don't know. I don't know. It was one of those things where I'm like, there was such a disconnect. There was such a disconnect from where these men's brain, where their brain and then where their heart is. Like that's the thing. Their brain and their heart are living in it's living in two different places. It's like they love this, they love how nefarious they want to be in like these types of settings, but then they have to like bond outside of these types of settings around men by downing these very same women that they're paying money to, because they understand like, I really want something that I'm not supposed to have, but I have to pretend like I don't really want that thing. Yes, they have a lot of cognitive dissonance. This is the reason why, like, understanding them, it's, yeah. They're fighting. They're constantly fighting between what it is that they want to do and what society tells them to do. And men naturally are submissive. Naturally, they are submissive. I'm sorry. I mean, here in the United States, just look at our sport, okay? Just look at the sport, the patriotic sport that we have. It's football, okay? It's football. And men love it. Men sit here and dedicate hours. They dedicate their money. They dedicate their emotions. Like men literally get angry over these football games. They want to watch these men run and catch a ball and collide into one another. And they're willing to spend money on this and to buy jerseys and to fixate over these men. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, once again, it's like, okay, they're fixating over the performance of a man. They fixate over the performance of the man, and they literally say that during the Super Bowl, DV rates go up very high. DV rates, they increase during the Super Bowl. Yeah, because they're upset that their girlfriend and their wife is in the way of the football player that they want to sleep with. Like imagine being that emotional. You're all emotional over the fact that your favorite football player that you want to hunch on lost the game, that you just gonna slap your wife or girlfriend upside the head. I mean, I'm sure you all have seen those videos. They're over here breaking TVs. They're over here flipping tables over. They're over here getting super emotional over stuff like that. And then you want to know what, oh, speaking of stripping, this is what would bother me. I hated stripping. I never, ever, ever, I did not work at clubs that promoted sports. I did not work at clubs that like had those big old big screen TVs. They want to make it like a sports bar / strip club. I would never work at those places. I would never work at those places because they just ignore the dancers. They just ignore the dancers. When I would work at a club and they would have it be highly promotional, they have it be highly promotional. Watch football here, watch the Super Bowl here, yada yada yada. No. Because when I would go to those things, it would bring in a lot of men But the men would care so much about hanging out with other men and watching football, they wouldn't want to, they would ignore the dancers. I'm not trying to, I already I already got a deal and think about how I'm gonna get this guy to go on and dance and not this girl. I gotta compete with the football game now. It's okay. I'm not competing with your real interest, aka another man. I'm not competing with where you really want your attention to be. So I was like, I had worked a few shifts at a place that would do those promotional sports things and stuff like that. I was like, no, there's no money to be made when the game is on. And men literally say that. Men literally say that to their wives. Don't bother me. Don't bother me. The game is on. Or if they invite all their friends and the wife has like made food or the wife stands in front of the TV. Get away from the TV. Get away from the TV. They do the same thing. They literally do the same thing under the same household with a woman, the woman that they live with. They don't even want to know that their wife or girlfriend exists when the football game is on. They did the same thing at the strip club. They just ignore everybody. And the club doesn't care because the club's like, we're over here making money anyway. We're getting these dudes liquored up. They're over here spending money on the food. So the club definitely don't care because they understand like we can get them liquored up here for about 2-3 hours. 2-3 hours, and then maybe after the game, they might be liquored up enough for them to want to spend money. Because usually that's the best time that you're going to be able to get them after the game. At least that was my experience. After the game, they're a little boozed up, a little tipsy. Okay, I'll try talking to them now that the game is off. And it's a double standard. Here's my thing. Double standards have to exist. I can't stand it when people are like, that's a double standard. That's a double standard. It has to be a double standard. It has to be a double standard because women and men are not the same people. There has to be a double standard. I am sorry. A man that's playing video games is not allowing video games to, a woman playing video games is not allowing the video game to impact her like a man is. It's not. And this has been proven. This has been proven. You can look up literal research studies on the hormones, on the brain chemistry of men and women, our brain activation, the parts of our brain, they're different. They're different. Double standards have to exist. Double standards have to exist. This is why I don't believe in feminism. I don't believe in feminism. Why would you want to be equal to somebody beneath you? Why would you want to be equal to somebody beneath you? We're two different people. Can men, because the thing about it is that equality. Can men give birth? Can men give birth? We're not equal. We're not equal. Until men can give birth, we're not equal. Until men can literally do every single thing, until they can literally do every single thing in regards to what women do under the same exact circumstances, we're not equal. We're not. Because I feel as though we're superior. I feel as though we're superior to men. That's why they have to try so hard. That's why they have to go out of their way to pay you less. That's why they have to go out of their way to only give you 3 months of maternity leave. That's the reason why they have to go out of their way to pay you even less once you give birth. That's the reason why they literally have to go out of their way to make sure that the more adjacent you become to the standards that they put on you as a woman, the more your life is going to decrease. Because the thing about it is that I feel like this. I feel like we are so far past equal pay. We're so far past equal pay. Because it definitely exists, but no, we're far, far past equal pay. Because the way I look at it is this: women are gaining education more than men are. And women also have beauty that they can monetize off of. So I look at it as like, you literally can get money from your college degree. You literally can use your beauty to make money, and you can exploit men's lust. It's just women have been shamed. Women have been shamed to use what they have to be able to make more money, because women are great multitaskers. Women can easily have multiple streams of income. Easily. Mhm. Yeah, it's like, of course, the pay gap exists. They try to make it seem as if, like, no, the pay gap doesn't exist because women go into jobs that are lower paying. Okay, who set that system up? Even if that were the truth, even if that were like the justification, that it's on purpose why the more female dominated jobs tend to pay less. Teachers is female dominated. They don't get paid a whole lot. Doctors, male dominated. They get paid a lot. Nurses, female dominated. They don't get paid as much as they deserve. They don't get paid as much as they deserve. They're doing the work of the doctor. They're doing more work than the doctor. And the doctor is getting paid like 3 times as much as them, because doctor is a male, it's more so a male-led profession. Exactly. And then what kills me is that men are so quick to forget. When they get old, when they're dying, when they get sick, it's going to be a fucking woman taking care of you. It's going to be a fucking woman taking care of you. It's not going to be a man. This is how you know they don't care about their health or prioritize their health or think about anything like that. Men are constantly forgetting the fact you're going to go to a hospital and it's going to be a woman that's going to take care of you. And men are so lucky. Could you imagine? I was thinking about this. Could you imagine? Because men like to say all the time, misandry, misandry. Imagine if women practiced misandry in the healthcare system like men in the police department practice misogyny. All these men would be dying. All these men would be dying. Nurses would not be doing shit. If women were actually practicing misandry like men practice misogyny, your ass is code blue. Your ass is code blue. No one's gonna help you. Your ass is code blue. No one's coming to save you. Automatic DNR. That's what these men don't realize. They have it so good. They have it so good. Imagine if women were out here doing that to the level that men do when they're in police, when they are in the police department, any type of thing with the government, where it would be protecting and serving people. Are you kidding me? No, these men would not be alive. I freaking love Nurse Ratched. I freaking love Nurse Ratched. Yep. 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 Ironically, yeah. Cops love to go for nurses. They freaking love to go for nurses. Like, imagine if all the doctors were women and these men came in with complaints. You're just making that up. You're just making that up. I think you're being hysterical. I think mentally something's wrong with you. Imagine if women were in these dominated fields and we were doing the same thing, and you literally will have men here screaming misandry. You literally will have men, oh my God, you're a misandrist, you're a misandrist. They wish we could be a misandrist. And the thing about it is that the largest population of homelessness is in men. Imagine if imagine working in healthcare and we snap our fingers and say, you want to know what? We're no longer helping the homeless. We're no longer helping the homeless. Yeah, guess what? These men will be out here dying on the streets then, because the homeless is majority men. Imagine if we quit giving care to the homeless. That automatically assumes that we quit giving care to majority men. You see how there's all these parallels? You see how there's all these parallels within these systems, in patriarchy? Patriarchy infiltrates these systems where they know that men dominate these levels where they are oppressed in some way, or they're struggling in some way, and they get to get help. They get to get care still, and women don't. Like, oh, the police, yeah, we can't do anything. We can't file a restraining order. You have to let the person stalk you 300 times. You got to let them send you 50 death threats. You got to say no 36 times, and then we can file a restraining order. They make you go through all of these hoops. They make you go through all of these hoops to be able to prove that someone is doing something to you. But you literally can be homeless and guaranteed care. But anything in mass that impacts women as a collective, it's all of these steps that you have to go through to be able to protect yourself. And then men will sit here, and the pick-me's will sit here and say, not all men, not all men. Think of I've just given you so many different examples. I've given you so many different examples, how these men are in their relationships versus how they are when they are with S workers, how they are in their professions. They're all literally doing the same thing. They're literally all doing the same exact thing. Why are men always more homeless than women? Because they piss people off to the point that no one wants to help them. That's what the issue is. They piss people off and use people to the point of exhaustion. That's why men consume other people for their benefit to the point that they drain you. You have nothing else left to give them. That's why. Women, for the most part, not always, of course, but majority of the time, when women are offered up some type of help, women don't want to be a burden on other people. Women actually feel bad about being a burden on other people. Men don't. I don't even think burden is in their vocabulary. I don't even think men think that they're a burden on other people. It's a very few sector of men who have it in their mind, like, I'm going to have my shit together. I'm going to make sure I have all my ducks in a row because I don't want to inconvenience somebody else. Women by nature don't like to inconvenience other people. They do not want to inconvenience other people. Men do not care about being an inconvenience. They do not give a fuck. The way they look at it, you chose for me to inconvenience you. It was your decision to be inconvenienced. Has nothing to do with me. Not my problem. This is why I tell women all the time, if those situations are happening, I'm telling you, get something to protect yourself. Get something to protect yourself. I'm telling you, you have to. You're going to have to get something to protect yourself. Because for at the end of the day, for a lot of these for a lot of these force positions, you're just another person to them. And then for some of them, you're just another person that's going to make them do the job that they don't want to do. And they get to have a choice. They get to have a say so. If women have a say so when it comes to keep having someone keep saving their life or not, oh my God, you didn't feel like saving that person's life, so you just let them die. And it's like, it's the same exact thing. It's the same exact thing for the police. You didn't care enough about that person that you just let someone harm them. You just let someone harm them. No big deal. Yeah, and the thing about it is that when they're like that, women, especially pick me, that's why they go after pick me women. Pick me women don't want to remind them that they're a burden. They don't want to remind them that they're a burden. I had one of my exes, he was so upset. He was so upset that I pretty much made him feel like a burden because I wanted his ass to leave. He overstayed his welcome. I wanted to reset before my shift, and I have a routine. And the energy that I have surrounded by me, especially before work, I need it set a certain way before I go to work. I need it set. He was so annoyed because I was like, why are you still here? Did you not say that you were? Because at first I was nice about it. It goes back to the boundary pushing. You said that you were going to leave. You said you were going to leave at 1:00. You're still here. Oh, I'm going to stay a little bit longer. I'm going to stay just a little bit longer. Okay. All right, you said that you were going to leave. Why are you still here? You don't want me here? No, I don't want you here. You said that you were going to leave at 1:00. I wanted you here until 1:00. I wanted you here until the time that you said that you were leaving, because that the expectation is that at that time you wouldn't be here anymore. He was so upset. He was so upset. But little things like that is how people are going to try to push your boundaries. That's little ways that people are going to push your boundaries. I don't want you here anymore. What did I do? What did I do? You didn't do anything. You didn't do anything. You're just trying to create an artificial situation to try to enforce your boundaries on somebody because you want to try to you want to try to assert your power. You want to try to assert your power. And ironically, he decided to become a police officer. He actually was a business owner, and then while he was with me, he decided that he wanted to become a police officer. Yeah, that relationship did not last. Tracks perfect why someone constantly trying to push up against my boundaries would want to go into a profession where they're literally given free agency to go push up against somebody's boundaries and go against somebody's boundaries. Right. What a downgrade. What a downgrade. I'm like, why would you want to go from being a business owner to a police officer? And like, thank God. I mean, overall, I haven't had any. This is how I view the police. I haven't had a bad experience with the police, but I would never rely on them. I would never, you shouldn't be relying on anybody. You shouldn't you shouldn't be relying on anybody. When you got to fight, when it's time for you to fight, you need to be ready to fight. When it's time for you to protect yourself, you got to be ready to protect yourself. You cannot be out here having your guard down in hopes that the police are going to be able to help you. So the way I look at it is that, you know what? Uh at the end of the day, I got to look out for myself. I got to look out for self at the end of the day. These police officers, they don't owe me nothing. They don't owe me nothing, and they're not made accountable or put in a situation where they feel like they owe anybody anything. So guess what? That's cool. That's fine. Yeah. How do I become a rock musician in women unfriendly communities? Chow, you being a you're when in doubt, freaking be a witch. Okay. Have being a witch be a part of like your uh persona. Okay. A lot of like in your rock songs, I talked about it on TikTok. Put some woo woo chant in there. Put some weird woo woo chant in there. The best way for you, I know it's a troll. I know it's a troll. The best way for you to be in male dominated spaces is to just scare men. Be ugly. Go be ugly. Honestly, if you're ugly, you won't have to worry about them bothering you. Like if you're hideous, you're gonna scare them away anyway. Okay, it's viewed negatively, but a lot that you say is so wise. Yes. How did I already have that person blocked? I didn't even see the question, and I was sitting here like question mark, question mark. Yes, that's what I said. A lot of the time, this content is always gonna bring just ridiculous people because people hate to hear from like strippers, s workers. They can't stand it. They can't freaking stand it. I'm hollering that you already have the person blocked. Yeah, trust me. I could spot a troll a mile away. But I've been having more fun responding to them because normally I just block them right away. Normally I block them right away. Did you find certain nail colors work better for both hands and feet when stripping? I feel as though French tip and French toes, they work every time. Honestly, they work every time. Um, you can have them short length to like medium length. Um, but I always had like French tips. I did. I always have French tips. It's natural, it's cute. And the thing about it too is that with the white tip, there's all that. I mean, a lot of clubs have a lot of black light. A lot of clubs have a whole lot of black light. So in the black light, the white is going to reflect really, really well without it being like painting your nails white, and it still looks really natural. And then of course you can like always play around. You can always play around, but I feel like French tip is usually in my for my experience, the men really liked it. She said, "Oh no, that's all I wear." Yeah, pink white is really cute. Pink white is really cute. And the thing about it too, it also depends on what your shtick is as a dancer. It depends on what your shtick is as a dancer. Um, if you want to have a conversation starter, you could get like really eclectic and really busy nails. You know what I mean? They're going to notice your nails, especially if you like play with your hair, or like you like touch his knee or something like that. They're going to see your nails. So if you want that to be a conversation starter, a very easy conversation starter, you could also just like get some very interesting nails. And then men will be like, "Oh, what's that on your nails? What does that mean? What are these charms or whatever?" And you can be like, "Yeah, these are my nails. I got this for this and this for that and yada, yada, yada." I've never experienced a pimp in my life. I've never experienced a pimp. I had worked with a girl who I for sure knew had a pimp. Actually, it was two girls that I worked with who I knew that had a pimp. The reason why I was never a good target for a pimp was because I never was someone that came off like I was in need. Pimps are going to give you the savior complex. It's the same as the men out in the wild that aren't in the club. Men that want to have the savior complex are pimps. That's the reason why they say men that are pastors, they most likely started off as pimps. There's a very strong correlation between pastors, priests, men that are religious, and them having ties to pimps, because the whole point of a man being a pimp is for him to be a savior to a woman that is in need. They repackage that and they repurpose that when they don't want to have the pimp title anymore. And so they go over into religion. So that was the reason why no man ever really tried to do that, because it was never given, "I need you." It was never given, "I'm a damsel in distress." Never. So out in the wild, they do the same thing. In the wild, they do the same thing. They want to look for women that are vulnerable. They want to look for women that don't have any financial means. They want to look for women who don't get along with her family. That's a big one. That's a big one. That's the reason why a lot of these men, a man's favorite like target demographic, it's a young girl, but it's a young girl that comes from a broken home. It's a young girl that comes from a broken home. That's perfect. That's perfect for a man, because they can be like, "Oh, you don't like your parents? You can come live with me. You want to run away? You don't want to deal." Exactly. Like that whole David and Celeste thing. Yeah, you don't like your parents, you're running away, you can come over here with me. A lot of women that end up getting pimped out, a lot of them are runaways. A lot of them come from broken homes. That's the reason why the system is so bad. The system has to be bad because they need vulnerable people to exploit. And so then they start treating them off good, and then eventually they start treating them bad. But then they remind them like, "You what are you going to do if you leave here? You going to go back to your parents? You think your parents are going to want to deal with you after they know that you've been doing XYZ, you've been selling this, you've been selling that, these girls are drug addicted. You think your parents are going to want to help you now?" Yes, the celebrity women are being pimped out. That's why I couldn't get over the whole sweetie thing. I couldn't get over that being, I watch Sloan. Okay, Sloan, he's this gay white man. He has like 1 million subscribers. He gives all of the Hollywood gossip. He gives all of the Hollywood tea. He didn't even break the story with Sweetie yet. He probably didn't break the story with Sweetie yet because he already has so much content on yachting. Zac Efron allegedly yachting. Meghan Markle allegedly was like one of the girls who would go out and find girls to go yachting for. Like yachting is it's like the corner store of Hollywood. It's a very, very important piece of Hollywood. There's a few models. Hailey Bieber, Kendall Jenner. It is so popular. Yachting is super, super popular. That's the reason why this whole purity culture and yada yada yada. It's like y'all are living in a fantasy land. Y'all are still living in this version of reality that they sold you. And people don't like. I commented, there was a guy, it was O'Shea Jackson's channel. His channel was, I don't know why it even recommended me. I think it's because I do keep up with some of the manosphere talking points, so that way I can like have content to respond to. It was his video that got suggested to me on the whole Saweetie thing. And so I watched a couple minutes of it, and then I looked at the comments. Some fool in the comments was talking about, I can't believe the police. I can't believe she hasn't been arrested. I put in the comments, I responded in the comments, I said, why would she be put in a predicament to get arrested? So that way the whole operation can get blown up. That way all of these people in power can have the whole operation blown up when it's all illegal. I mean, make it make sense. I didn't say Meghan Markle was a yacht girl. I said that Meghan Markle was someone that would find the girls to go yachting. Learn to listen, please. It's like there has to be a Ghislaine Maxwell. There has to be someone who is unassuming that will find the girls. You think they're going up to the girls and saying, hey, for $30,000, this guy's going to dump in your mouth and he's going to buy you Louis Vuitton and no, who would sign up for that? No, they're not doing it that way. They get somebody that's like unassuming, and they make the person kind of like feel comfortable, and they're like, hey, there's this party on this yacht. We're just going to have a good time. It's going to be some cool people there or whatever. They get the party going. They end up drinking. They probably have some other things that are involved to get these girls more comfortable. And then that's how it happens. Like, come on, y'all gotta think more. And she probably was yachting. I mean, honestly, at some point she probably was yachting, because even with the whole there's been blind items in her, I forgot what show she was on, because she was the briefcase girl. Deal or No Deal. That's what it was. Deal or No Deal. People had said that, like, in order for her to be able to get on her show, like, there must have been, because my thing about it is this, where do you think they get the term she slept her way to the top? Okay, in order for someone to sleep their way to the top, there has to be someone willing to give them an opportunity if they sleep with them. I mean, honestly, I really, like, this is what kills me about that. You slept your way to the top. Okay, who gave the woman the opportunity and all she had to do was sleep with him? Exactly. It's built in the system. It's a part of the system. It's the system that men are allowing and upholding. This is the price that men are putting. This is the price that men are saying. They're getting mad at the fact that they're upset over the fact that women are able to use that as a form of payment and men can't. If men had a vagina, they would be doing the same thing. You can look up numerous street interviews. What would you do if you woke up a woman? Oh, I would be sleeping with everyone. I would be having men give me free drinks. I would be having men giving me money. The very same thing that they are shunning you for. The very same thing that they are talking shit about women for are the very same things that they would be choosing to do if they had the ability to do it. So it's not about she slept her way to the top. It's someone literally gave her the opportunity to get to the top, and all he wanted or needed from her was her vagina. Yeah, I mentioned Zac Efron. I mentioned Zac Efron because Sloan did a video on it. Sloan did a video about Zac Efron being a part of yachting, allegedly. And I could kind of see it. I could kind of see it. But yeah, these men, they know very well. This is the reason why they're so upset, because men are like, I have to work hard. I have to be smart. I already have to have some money just for me to make money. And all women have to do is exist and they get everything. We need a different currency. Money got people doing strange things. That's the reason why it was created. Money is a construct. It's not real. Exactly. Anything is currency. It's what you want to give. Exactly. Money is just a physical form of energy. That's it. It's a physical form of energy. They just took a green piece of paper and attached value to it. Once you attach value to something, that's what's going to make people want to work for that thing, because they took an inanimate object, they took something fake, and they attach value to it. I'm 22 years old and I know so much about men that I can't fake act dumb anymore. Any tips? Focus on getting the bag. Focus on getting the bag. If you don't want to act dumb, use your smarts to get to the bag. College, a degree, multiple businesses. If you're a woman and you're sick of playing this damsel in distress, you're sick of having to do this performative stuff, if to have men get you money and stuff like that, you got to be the rich man. You tired of being dumb? Use your smarts to get an education. Use your smarts to learn something and make some money. What is your view on cheating on men being a secret adult worker whilst, I'm assuming, still dating? Um Hold on, let me read this again. Cheating on men sounds like what I was doing. Sounds like what I was doing while I was dating, when I was stripping. Sounds exactly like what I was doing. Just be smart, make sure don't nobody find out. Do what I do, and dance in small parts of town, and then dance and then go date in a big city. That's what I would do. I'm like, I'm in this big old city. Ain't nobody gonna know what's going on or who I'm hanging out with. You'd have someone at the club that you hang out with, and they would be giving you money, or you hang out with them outside the club, they give you money, and then you have like your serious boyfriend that you're dealing with, and then you're cheating on the serious boyfriend with like another dude, and then you got another dude giving you money. Chow, that was my whole experience while I was dancing. It was terrible. It was terrible. Because the thing about it is that when you're in S work, you just have access to so many men. You have access to so many men. So when you have access to that many men, it's kind of like, I'm gonna just make use of everybody. Everybody has a role. I got me a little football team going on. They all playing their position. Everything's good. How do you get your mind and body on the same page? Um, a lot of the time, in order to get your mind and your body on the same page, you have to purge what's in the mind through the body. Deep, I know. Deep, I know. But no, seriously, you have to purge what's in your mind through your body, and then your mind and your body will be on the same page. Yeah, because when you're working in that environment, like, and the thing about it is this, outside, like, I danced for 4 years. I quit dancing in 2016. So I literally have almost had 10 years. I have almost had 10 years of non-dancing experience with men. I've almost had 10 years of non experience of experience with men independent of dancing. And they were no different than the men that I had met in the club. No different. Obviously, I'm not at the club, so of course, on the first date, the guy is not going to be like, here's, here's $20. Here's $20. I'll take a dance. Obviously, we're not at the freaking club. But in the wild, the man's thinking like, all right, I done invested 2 dates and I done invested $200. I'm going to ask for some vagina. At the end of the day, it's the same mindset. It's the same mindset in a different form. It's the same mindset in a different manner. Okay. One setting in the club, they get to be more free and just say exactly what they want because it's already known that that's why they're there in the first place. The other setting, it's under the guise of love and romance and all that romantic stuff and stuff like that. So they have to be more covert. Whenever people say not all men, whenever people say not all men, I always want to ask the question, if it's not all men, how many men do women have to deal with to get to the man that's not all men? This is the question that no one can ever answer. I've asked a man every single time. If it's not all men, how many men do women have to deal with to get this man that is not all men? And they can never answer the question. You mean to tell me I gotta be in a relationship with 10 fucking men? You mean I gotta be in a relationship with 12 fucking men to be able to say that it's not all men? And then you want me to have long relationships with them because if they're just quickies and one night stands and things like that, and I don't get to know the person, well, then that's gonna make me look like, this terrible man. Okay, how in my life, how am I gonna, and then they want you to do all this shit by 30. They want you to do all this shit by 30. So they want you to start dating at 18, be a virgin, and then get through 10 men over the span. They want you to get through 10 men over the span of 10 years. When half of those 10 years you don't know shit, and then be married by 30. And then prove that you've been able to maintain a long occurring relationship. Like what? That doesn't make any sense. I feel like this, the grieving process with dealing with men, it comes and goes. It ebbs and flows. Like, I'll hear girls at the pole studio and they're like, oh yeah, like me and my boyfriend, we went here, me and my boyfriend, we went there. And, in the back of my head, it's the hermit season for me. I'm pretty much alone, not lonely, but alone. And, it ebbs and flows. Sometimes I'll hear stuff like that and I'll be like, yeah, it would be nice to kind of like have a companion and, hang out with someone. But then I think, like, at what expense? At what expense? Is it really worth my peace to be able to have a man to go on vacation with? Is it really worth my peace to have a man to go out to dinner with? Is it really worth my peace to have a man sleep with me? And then once I come back to reality, I'm like, no, it's not. It's not worth my peace to be able to have any of those things. Cause child, when I think about being in a relationship, it just is too draining. I feel like the small percentage of men, I feel like the small percentage of men that are actually normal and that really, really do love their wife, um, they love their kids. I look at it like this. They would have had to be in an environment where patriarch, like the mother, this is the thing, it starts with the mom. It starts with the mom and it starts with the dad. Okay? Like there are some people, they grew up in a structure, they grew up in a home structure where the dad was actually submissive. It's rare, but it happens because there are some men that are like, you want to know what? I actually take pride in being submissive. I'm just going to let the woman handle everything and like, do everything. And I love the fact that I don't really have to like think. That's if that's what he's been around and that's what he's seen, that's going to be normal to him. It's going to be normal for him to, oh, okay, this is normal. Like this makes sense to me. I'm just going to do everything she tells me to do. And like, that's like the form of like love. Like, that's what makes sense to me. It really starts there. If they didn't have that type of dynamic that they seen, they're going to fall into line like every other man. It's just going to be patriarchal bullshit. They're just going to see nothing but patriarchal bullshit with the man being dominant and the man asserting his control over all the situations. Oh my God, 30 was a terrible year for me. 30 was a terrible year for me. I think 30, I had a few phases of my life of being Pygmesia. Like I've had a few phases in my life of being Pygmesia, but bitch, okay? 29, 30, that was peak Pygmesia for me. That was peak Pygmesia for me. Okay? Because society is constantly jamming it into women's head that like if you're not married and if you don't have somebody by 30, something is wrong with you. You got the family asking you, where's your man? Where's your ring? Where's your kids? What's going on? What's wrong with you? An easy way to get over that, and it's probably gonna sound really shallow. Okay, it's gonna sound really, really shallow. Focus on being like super hot. Okay, focus on being super hot and having a ton of money. Because number one, people number one, they're not even gonna question if you're 30 because they're just gonna be so enamored by your beauty. They're going to be so freaking enamored by your beauty. If I could give any advice to women who are like afraid of turning 30, please like keep leveling up and just be selfish as hell. Be selfish as hell. Be super, super selfish. Once you're so obsessed with yourself, and you invest so much time in yourself, you're going to look around and be like, dude, no, I'm putting so much effort into myself. I'm not the crazy one. And then eventually people will start looking at you and they're going to be like, you want to know what? The reason why she looks so good, the reason why she looks so good is because she doesn't have a man. Like women like Maya or Tracy Ellis Ross or Sanaa Lathan. They look so good. They look so freaking good that people are pissed off over the fact that they don't want a man because they look so good. When you're hot and real attractive and you care a lot about your appearance as you get older, you become a hot commodity. You become such a hot commodity. People aren't even going to be questioning. People aren't even going to be questioning anything. They're going to be so obsessed with your beauty. And once people see like, yeah, she looks good and she actually doesn't have a man, she must have cracked the code. Yeah, because it's a code crack. A lot of women get older and they let their looks go. And the thing about it is that when women get married, women get comfortable and women let their looks go. So if you every time at the grocery store, there is always somebody's man looking at me. There's always going to be somebody's man looking at me. When you're hot, don't nobody care about how old you are. Don't nobody care about how old you are when you look good. Once this lady broke up with her baby father and she looked great, my friend and I were like, damn, we got to find us and break up with. That end was so yeah, be hot. Be hot. And another thing too, when you're hot, you're not going to tolerate as much stuff. Okay? You're not going to tolerate as much stuff because I'm sorry. Pick Misha. When I see Pick Mishas online, because when I was Pick Misha and I cared a lot about being in a relationship, getting married, having children, when I cared a lot about those things, I was leveled down. I was leveled down. When I see Pick Mishas, they're always leveled down. They're never leveled up. I really do believe that there is a clear correlation between being leveled down and being a Pick Misha and caring a whole lot about being married, a whole lot about having children and finding someone. As you get older and you really start caring about your looks and you really are on the journey of leveling up, I promise you that stuff ain't even going to matter. Because it ain't going to matter to nobody else either. You look too good. You look too good for it to matter. You got these men at the grocery store. They got their wife. She let herself go, and they see you over here glowing, looking good, got your cute little outfit on. You think a man is over here looking at you like, I wonder if she's 30. I wonder if she's 30. Hell no. He over here like, she looked good. She looked better. She looked better than what I got over here. Men only say that stuff on the internet. Men only say that 30 plus stuff on the internet. When men see fine as hell, all that their brain can register is fine as hell. That's all that their brain can register. Out in the wild, fine as hell is fine as hell. If you fine as hell, they not gonna care how old you are. Caretaker and Pick Misha. Oh yeah. That's good video topic. How caretakers turn into Pygmisha. I know that's why these men be going after them CNAs. They be going after them CNAs. He be like, hell yeah, she gonna take care of me. She gonna take care of me, and she gonna give me her whole paycheck, her whole CNA paycheck. Heck yeah. CNAs, nurses. That's why I'm like, nope, I'll be hiring somebody. Okay, that's why I'm making sure I'm trying to get money now, get my affairs in order. Get my affairs in order because that will be allocated to somebody else. I need my energy. I need my time to myself so I can make sure that everybody else is taken care of. Because men love to put that stuff on women. Oh yeah, you're gonna take care of your parents. Your father is gonna be so lucky for you to take care of him. No, I'm gonna be paying for somebody to take care of them. They could live with me. They could live with me. Absolutely. I'll live under the same roof as them for sure. But I'm paying somebody to take care of them. Once again, that whole ran through, that whole you can't find a man. I'm telling you, that's only on the internet. That's only on the internet. In the wild, men are not thinking about that. It's like what I said at the beginning of the live stream. Men don't have the leverage or power to pick, choose, and refuse. They don't. They do not have the leverage. They do not have the power to pick, choose, and refuse. Men cannot go in the wild and just go up to a woman and be guaranteed her number, be guaranteed to sleep with her. These are just things that men like to say on the internet because they have the audacity. They don't have any fear behind what it is that they have to say behind a keyboard. So that's the reason why they're saying it. Men understand that it's not real. They know that it's not real. So on the internet, they got to create this whole fake narration of no one's going to want you. No one's going to do anything for you. You're ran through, you're this. Chow. It's so funny when you said you hope that I'm making short clips from my lives, because I am going back to I have my AI generator that will clip it for me. And so I'm going to go back to using my AI generator that'll clip it. So yeah, don't believe men when they say stuff like that. Exactly. These are the same men that are afraid to approach women in the club. These are the same men that are afraid of rejection. And you mean to tell me that men are over here talking about they can sift through women? They could sift through women like a catalog on who's ran through, who's not ran through, and then be able to pick exactly who they want and that person like them. No, they don't have that ability. They don't have that power. And in my lived experience, there was only one guy in my time of me stripping that had a problem with it. I only had one guy that was like, yeah, you're a stripper and like I do like you, but I can't see myself having a serious relationship with a stripper. Okay, cool. Any other person, any other man that I've told that to, one of my exes met me in the strip club. One of my exes literally met me in the strip club. He met me there. A lot of the girls that I know that are stripping in the club, their husbands, these men put a ring on it and they met them at the club. A lot of the women that I know that are strippers, pretty much all of them are married. And all of them met the man in the club. So that's another thing too. These men talking about, oh, you're a 304 and no man's gonna wife you, and these strippers are out here getting wifed. These OnlyFans girls, they got a husband behind the screen that these men are talking to. Like, no. Like, no. These men, exactly. All men care about is if you're hot. That's why I said this whole you're ran through, you're 30, you're this, you're that. When they have a woman that they deem as being attractive in front of them, men are not thinking about that. They're not thinking about that. Their brain is they're going to see a hot woman and their brain is going to short circuit to, I want to sleep with her. They're not over here thinking about, is she ran through? Is she 30? How many baby daddies does she have? They ain't thinking about that. Like, no. Yeah. It's like, uh-uh. Yeah, no, exactly. No man is looking at a hot woman thinking she got a body count of 0. Never. That's the reason why I've never had a man even ask me what my body count was. Like, I like, even with the whole Cassie thing, these men were going out of their minds over Cassie on when she with the Diddy trial, and it was getting exposed what she was doing in the bedroom and how many men she was sleeping with. Have you seen how attractive Cassie is? Have you seen how attractive Cassie is? Why would she not be sleeping with men that she also sees to be attractive? Because the men that she was sleeping with are attractive. Ryan Leslie is attractive. Kid Cudi is attractive. I never deemed Diddy to be attractive, but Cassie was sleeping with attractive men. Her husband is attractive. I mean, I didn't see all them like escort people that they hired or whatever. A few of them weren't attractive, but I know also it was other qualities that she liked. But it's like, when you're beautiful and when you're likable, people want to sleep with you. And if you're attracted to those people, naturally you're gonna sleep with them. Like I can't stand that. I can't stand that shit. Like, no. Men get so mad over the fact that women can be beautiful and women have the opportunity to sleep with people that they're also attracted to. Men don't get That's the thing. Men don't get to sleep with people that they're attracted to. Men have to sleep with people that want to sleep with them. Attractive women, most of the time, they get to sleep with people that they're attracted to. And they try to flip it. Yeah, I've always found Kid Cudi attractive. I've always found Kid Cudi attractive. This is why they have this thing that they always have this quote: men or women can choose, women get to choose who they sleep with. Men get to choose who they marry. No, men get to choose who they can marry. Men don't get to just go up to any woman and have access to marry her, just like he can't go up to any woman and be able to marry her. Both in the sexual marketplace and with marriage, men have to marry who they can. Men have to marry who they can. And yes, women choose ultimately, because men like to say it all the time. Men control access to marriage. No, women have to control access to marriage because she has to tell your ass yes. That's how you know that they're telling on themselves and they're using marriage as a carrot to dangle over you, because they're so confident over the predictability of women, knowing that women want marriage, that they believe that they have access to marriage because they understand that women want marriage more than men. So in their brain, they believe that they have access because she wants marriage so bad, she's waiting forever for me to ask her. That's what Pygmisha is doing. That's what Pygmisha is doing. There are women out here who they collect rings like fucking Kobe because they've had so many proposals that they've turned down. There are women over here that have had 3, 4 proposals that they've turned down. Guess why they keep getting so many proposals? Because the man wants marriage more than her. He can't get married. These men can't get married to her because she's turning them down. She's saying no. Women have access to marriage. They just want you to be desperate for marriage so they can dangle it over your head like a carrot. That should tell you where their mind is with marriage. They don't want to get married. They see marriage as a form of power. They see marriage as a form of something that this means that she will like me. This means that she will want to deal with me. There are women that I know that have kept the ring. There are some women that I know that have given the ring back. But there are women that I know, they kept the engagement ring. This is why I'm always telling women, do not ever tell no man you want marriage. It's not going to change anything. Having that whole marriage talk is a waste. It's a waste to have that talk. It's a waste to have that talk about marriage. As soon as you get to talk about marriage, they already know where your mind is. They already know that they have something that they can dangle over you. When you never ever talk about marriage, they don't know where your mind is. They don't know what they can use against you to put themselves in a position of power. You just be vague. I'm really not sure. I'm really not sure if I, want to get married or not. I don't know. Like I'm a little bit on the fence about it. I'm just really not sure. Exactly. There were women in the comments talking about how they've been dating a girl for 7 years, and the girl said, listen, I will quit cooking and cleaning and sleeping with you if you don't give me a ring. And he realized, oh shit, I'm losing access to all this labor. And so guess what he did? He decided to marry her. The only reason why he married her was because he realized that he was going to lose access to her labor and sleeping with her. And so that's the reason why he married her, because they don't want to get married. Men don't want to get married. That's why they have a shut up ring. That's why they have the term called shut up ring. I like to call it a here damn. Here damn, take the ring. Here damn. You whining and complaining about this ring? Here, shit. Bothering me and annoying me over this stupid ring, over this stupid wedding. That's what men are thinking of. Men don't want to get married. Because if they really wanted to get married, you wouldn't be having to perform all of these things to get them to marry you. And then what's even crazier is that men will sit here and be like, you don't understand what position I'm putting myself in by choosing to marry you. You know, Men look at marriage as like, this marriage is getting in the way of me cheating. This marriage is getting in the way of me being able to sleep with other women. They see marriage as an inconvenience because they're now bound by the law, and there's a higher chance of their lack of discipline to be clocked by the government. That's the reason why they don't like marriage, because marriage holds them more accountable. It can hold them more accountable. Mhm. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. These men, the way that it is in their mind, that's why whenever they talk about marriage, someone put it in the comment section. It's the old ball and chain. She made me do it. I didn't really want to get married. Men do not talk about marriage in a positive manner at all. They don't talk about it in a positive way at all, because they understand, fuck, I'm gonna be held accountable by the government. She's gonna get half. And they kill me with that. You got average men over here talking about, I don't want to get married. She gonna get half. Get half of what? $40,000? I'm gonna get half of $40,000. Like what? Alimony. If I get married, I'm gonna have to pay her alimony. Okay, you're gonna have to pay her 6 cents a month for the whole rest of her life. You're going to have to pay her 6 pennies a month for the whole rest of her life. That's the alimony. Alimony is only awarded 3 to 8% of the time. Sir, you are not in the tax bracket to be paying anybody alimony. Get out of rich men's pockets. Get out of rich men's business. Quit thinking that you are Elon and Jeff Bezos and stuff like that. They over here in their brain, they have so much money. In their brain, they have so much that they're able to give somebody. Sir, no. And that's the thing too. This is the thing too. Okay, they want you to go 50-50. They want you to go 50-50. But then they're pissed off about having to get a divorce because you're going to take half. If you wanted her to go 50-50, wouldn't she be entitled to the half already? Like, no, they want you to go 50-50. They want you to get married, go 50-50, and then have everything go to them. They're delusional as hell. They want you to go 50-50 and then feel like you shouldn't be compensated for getting 50%. Like, even if that actually did play out, they still want you to go 50-50. So what are we even talking about? Like, child, when I hear these men complaining about child support, I'm tired of the government. She got me on child support. And the girl's like, we have 3 kids and the child support payment is $114 a month. Like, come on. We're talking about $37. We're talking about what, $33, $34 per child. And you over here upset at the government. And the thing about it is this. All of these systems, like I said earlier in the live stream, all of these systems are set up by the powers that be because they've paid attention to human nature over time. And so they've been able to capitalize off of their observed human nature. Why would the government create child support if men did not repeatedly show a display of them not taking care of their children? The government didn't just wake up one day and say, you know what, we're going to go on ahead and create child support. No, the government saw, you know what, these men aren't taking care of the fucking children. These men aren't taking care of their kids. We can capitalize off of that. We can actually make ourselves more money because we understand that men don't take care of their children. So guess what? We're going to create child support. We're going to create child support to be able to make the government more money and make people of power more money. Like I said before, it's human nature. Then they create rules. Then they create laws. They pay attention to human nature first. The reason why y'all have to pay child support is because y'all don't take care of your fucking children. They garnishing my wages. They garnishing my wages, and I don't know how to blah. Like, child. Exactly. 10K in child support, and she kept the houses. My thing is this. You know how unattractive it is, and this is the reason why these men don't have any money. These men, they have to pay child support and they're upset about having to spend money and stuff like this. They don't understand that that's not attractive. A man that has to clench his fist to hold on so tight to money will never put himself in a position to open up his grasp on money to be able to grab more money. The tighter of a fish you're trying to ball up the little money that you have a scarcity mindset with money. Don't no woman want to hear that shit. Don't no woman want to hear about how you're afraid of losing half. Don't no woman want to hear about how you're afraid to pay stuff out and get divorced and stuff like this and yada yada yada. I don't know. Women don't want to hear that shit. You're a man. You're supposed to find a way to make more money. You're a man. You're supposed to be logical, right? Why can't you use that logic to make more money? You're the superior gender, right? How come you don't know how to use that superiority to make more money? You're the better gender, you're the stronger gender, you're the smarter gender, you're the more logical gender. Okay, you have all of those things going for you. How can you not use those things to be able to make you more money then? This is the reason why whenever they like to create this narrative like they're just so macho and they're so smart and they're so this. Okay, if you have all those things going for you, why is your situation is the way that it is? The reason why they believe that is because they're constantly taking credit for what other men are doing. That's the reason why they believe that they're logical. So this is why they constantly have to remind women about the accomplishments of other men, completely dismissing the fact that in order for these accomplishments to be created, they've exploited a whole group of people. Men will sit here and be like, your Wi-Fi and AI is taking over in your phone and you're this. Okay, in order for us to have an iPhone, they have to exploit young children in China to make the fucking phones. They have 13-year-old children working 16-hour shifts in a fucking sweatshop to be able to make the iPhone. They have men that are losing their lives in Congo to go mine cobalt that they have to put in the iPhone. So you're admitting the fact, you're over here relishing over the fact that men are making accomplishments and completely dismissing the fact that in order for them to be able to accomplish these things, they're exploiting vulnerable people. Behind every single industry that men have created, there's exploitation behind it. The food industry, the pharmaceutical industry, the tech industry, the clothing industry. Everything that has been created, they are exploiting vulnerable groups of people. Yes, Wi-Fi was invented by a woman. You're right. And they don't care about any of that stuff. They don't care about any of that stuff. It's like, no, say the full story. These men are successful because they're taking advantage of and doing terrible things to other people. We're not going to sit here and make it seem as if men are getting this stuff fair and square and they're just so holier than thou and they use their own blood, sweat, and tears. No, they're using other people's blood, sweat, and tears to be able to create these things and to create these so-called resources. The resources that people have to fucking work a job for. That's another thing that I'm not going to let them gaslight me into being grateful for. Who made the house that you live in? Who made the car? Who made the car that you drive? Y'all didn't give us this shit for free either. You all created some fake currency that's paper that you all turn green, attach value to it, and you're fucking making people have to work to be able to have these things that you all created. Like, no, you're not going to spit on my cupcake and call it frosting and say that I should be grateful for some shit that I have to slave away and work a job to be able to only have. And then now they've made it illegal for you to not have it. Homelessness is illegal. Like, these men are insane. They literally want you to be grateful. They want you to be grateful for a ton of bullshit. A ton of bullshit that's just been backed by a ton of ridiculousness. Ugh. Yeah, exactly. Stealing the credit of like women's contributions to make it seem as if men just have all this brain power. And my thing about it is this: men love to say that men created everything. Then why do you need a woman to build with you? Once again, using this logic back on you. Men created this. Men created that. Men don't need women. Okay, but then you're over here looking for a woman to build with you. Which one is it? Which one is it? You created all of the things in the world, right? You're a part of the powerful men, right? The smart men, right? Okay, why do you need a woman to build with you? One thing about me, I'm using men's logic against them every time. I'm using it against them every time because they will move the goalposts. They will move the goalposts for whatever argument is presented to them at the time. And it's like they build, and this is the thing, the men build homes just for them to live in a goddamn home that ain't got no fucking furniture. We built the home that you live in. And yeah, the home that you live in, you all you fucking have is a TV and an Xbox and a recliner. You don't even know how to build the interior of your own home. What are you talking about? When Shira did Earl, did y'all see her live stream when she did Earl? I was rolling. And when she had the green screen, yes, that's what I was thinking of. Yes, because she streamed it. That's what the background was. He had the he had the recliner, he had the recliner in his TV, and that was it. Yes, the girl recliner. Somebody in the comments said that when she came over to a man's house, he didn't even have a recliner. He had a lawn chair. He had a lawn chair. It had that bottle of water on the counter and like some like half-eaten food in a container. Oh my god, that was too funny. That was too funny. Thank God. Now, one thing I can say, have I walked in? Well, actually, no. I damn near did walk into a man's house that was like that. I damn near did walk into a man's house that kind of looked like that. It was my ex's. I was like, once again, I broke up with him quickly after. Shira is hilarious. Like, she is so funny. She is. She's so freaking funny. When I was so happy. I was like, I was on there the same time that she was live. I was cracking up. I was cracking up. Most of the men, honestly, most of the men, I was like, I think that they were gay because their interior, most of the men, this is the thing. I don't know why, but I would always deal with men that were more cleaner than me. I would always deal with men who their interior they could design. Like I had one guy that I was seeing. I came over his place was it was furnished beautiful. He had these candles all around and stuff like that. He was like, yeah, he was like, some girls think that I'm actually gay. He's like, some girls actually think that I'm gay. And I'm like, okay. Okay, yeah, whatever. Yeah, either a woman, another woman, or their mom. Like one of my exes, okay, it made perfect sense why his place was it made perfect sense why his place was really nice because his mom was like an event coordinator. So that's what she did for work. She planned everything, she decorated everything, so it made sense. The other guy, I was like, there's another woman in here. This is the reason why. There's another woman in here. The other guy, I was like, you have no feminine influence. You have no feminine influence on your life. This place looks like a dump. I was like, this place looks like a dump. I was like, yeah, I was like, it definitely was his mom. Definitely was his mom. Child, I'm gonna stay on here for probably like 20 more minutes and then get off of here. This was a fun this because this is a fun live stream. This is all that matters is that you're getting the money. Okay? All that matters is that you're getting the money. It doesn't matter if he's tall, it doesn't matter if he's handsome, it doesn't matter if he has money. All that matters is that he's giving you his money. I don't care if he's giving I used to kind of care a little bit whenever men would like get here's the thing. When I was younger, I would kind of care about men giving other women money. But then as I got older, I was just like, as long as they're giving me money, I don't care. All that other stuff is irrelevant. All that other stuff is irrelevant. And honestly, even what they make, it helps knowing what they make, but all that matters is that they're generous. Ain't no point in you talking to a millionaire and he ain't giving you a penny of his money. What what bag you gonna be able to get by telling the person at Louis Vuitton, yeah, the guy that I'm seeing, he's a millionaire. What bag can you get with that? What you gonna say to the leasing office? Yeah, I can't pay my rent this month, but the guy that I'm seeing is a millionaire. Do you all take that as payment? Ain't nobody taking that as payment. This is the thing. Women women think women think that we can use what men's profession is as a form of social status. We can't. Okay, we can't. Um the only thing that you can use is really just their money. But like bragging about like, "Oh, he's a this, he's a that." You want to know how many women I know and like their man just works a blue collar job, like their man is a plumber and they're getting the money. They're getting the money. They're taken care of. They don't have to work. They don't really have to worry about anything. Telling everybody that your man is a plumber, but who cares? Who cares if your man is a plumber? You get money. You know what I mean? You get money and you don't have to really worry about anything. So that's all that works. I know women that deal with farmers. I know women that deal with farmers. The farmer that this girl was dealing with, he was making money. He was making money because whatever it was that he farmed, he was sourcing it out to big corporations. He was sourcing it out to big corporations. So at face value, yeah, telling people, "Oh yeah, he's a farmer," it may not sound like anything, but baby, he had money and he was spending it. He was spending it on her. I can do a live stream on being assertive and calling people out when they disrespect you. The easiest way, you have to have like you have to have like word vomit. Honestly, you have to have word vomit. When you sit here and like process like I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. I'm uncomfortable. You're going to keep like, that's going to get you further away from saying it. The quicker you say something and you just say something right away, you ain't got enough time to think. You ain't got enough time to think. Cause I just say it right away. I say it right away. Like, okay, now what? Now what's going to happen? Now what do they have to say? I will handle it as it comes along. I think she means in general. I don't think she means like in regards to money. I think she's just talking about in general with disrespect. I wouldn't be trying to lose weight as quick. I wouldn't be you can't lose weight quickly and healthy. There's no way. You cannot lose weight quickly and healthy. There's no way. There's no way. If you're losing weight quickly, it's because you're losing weight unhealthy. Now, if you're morbidly obese, obviously you're going to lose a lot of weight at the beginning because you're going to lose a lot of water. You're going to lose a whole lot of water. So obviously the bigger you are, the bigger your losses are going to be in the beginning, but you should be losing weight slow. I am losing weight slow as hell. I am losing weight. Someone told me on TikTok that it looked like I lost weight, but I'm losing weight at like a rate of 2 pounds a month. I am losing weight so slow. So slow. Because I had binge eating disorder. I did bodybuilding. I know what it's like to lose weight quick. I know what it's like to crash diet. I know what it's like to crash diet myself into losing weight. Don't do it. If you can get like gastric bypass or something like that, go for it. But make sure that you enable some good and clean eating habits before you do that too. You just going off on everybody. You just going off on everybody. That used to be me. That used to be me. Yeah, and the thing about it, 2 pounds a month for me is so slow, so slow. But I'm not in a crazy deficit. I'm not in a deficit that's crazy. I'm only in a deficit of like 300 calories. Always remember, like a deficit of 500 calories is just for you to lose a pound a week. You don't have to be in if you're in a deficit of 300 calories, that's still a deficit. If you're in a deficit of 200 calories, that's a deficit. So it doesn't have to be under 500 calories. Like I feel like that's very important because the thing about it is that you don't want to be I don't want to be hungry all goddamn day. And I do a lot of like pole work stuff and things like that. I'm very active. I need to make sure that I don't lose my muscle. I want to make sure that I'm not like skinny fat. You know what I'm saying? So my calories are on like the higher end of being in a deficit. And then on the days like so it's my luteal phase. I eat maintenance calories. So that's the thing. Even if you eat over your deficit, as long as you eat at your maintenance calories, you won't gain weight. So if you want to take a diet break, because you could take a diet break. You don't have to be in a deficit forever. Just eat at your maintenance calories. Eat at your maintenance calories and be active, however that looks like for you. I did my ancestry. I didn't see any Somali in there. I didn't see any Somali in there. How did you know you were ready to start dancing? I'm pursuing a degree, but want to do something in the meantime. I'm in a big city, but worried someone will recognize me. How do you make the jump? Well, the first thing is that I got in a female dominated field. So I got into ultrasound. So I already knew that I really wasn't gonna probably run into anybody that I would have to work with. Okay. And then number two, the thing about it is this. I think this is what a lot of women don't realize. If a man sees you at like the strip club, or if a man like does like OnlyFans or something like that, you always have to remember, just like he saw you there, you saw him there. He might be married. You can lie and be like, you paid too. You're talking about me being a stripper. You paid to get a dance. You paid to see those pictures. So, because there are men that know me, that have like known me personally, and like they actually were at the strip club, or they actually did like either want to get my content or actually did purchase my content. They ain't gonna put me on blast, because if they put me on blast, then guess what? That would give me the right to put them on blast. You purchased, I provided. You think it's in style for men to be getting exposed as a simp right now? You think men wanted to be mainstream for everybody to know that they're a simp and they're out here paying for that? No. Men don't want other people to know that stuff. So no. Because if you ever notice when like nudes and stuff are exposed, a lot of the time that stuff is exposed by somebody in a relationship. This is why I tell women all the time, men only understand the severity of something when money is a part of it. When there is no money involved, men don't understand consequences. When you are out here sharing pictures and it's someone that you love, it's someone that you care about, men don't care about the severity that comes along with that. They don't care about that. Even if you do say, yeah, but we were in a relationship and it was private, it was intimate, they're still going to use it against you because there was no transaction attached to it. Men don't want the world to know that they had to have a transaction to be able to get access. They don't want the world to know that. They do want the world to know that a woman fell in love with him, a woman invested everything, and because she doesn't want to do what it is that he wants her to do anymore, she's going to use something that was done with love and commitment and all those things, and romance, all those things that women care about, and so he's going to use it as a form of revenge. See how the difference in thinking is? Yeah, if money is not attached to it, men do not care. They do not care. You're over here thinking that women will be over here doing these things thinking like, I'm doing it out of love, I care about him, yada yada yada. These men don't care. Alchemizing it for personal growth. Yes. I think I've only seen one customer in the hospital. I think in my whole entire life, I only seen one customer at the hospital. One time, my boyfriend at the time, so I met him at the club. One time, his brother came to the club. One time, his brother came to the club. So that was pretty funny. Was there anything else weird? Um, One time, yeah, I think once or twice, guys that I went to high school with were there. I really can only remember one. Um, and he didn't care. Years later, he was taking me out every weekend. Because if they'll spend money in the club, because he spent money on me in the club, chow, they'll spend money on you at the club. And he actually did like me in high school. So it was like his fantasy. It was like his dream come true. He's like, I liked her in high school. And I get to see her as a stripper, and I get to hang out with her. Like I fulfilled his wildest dreams. Is it hard to do an ultrasound off topic? I mean, at first it is. Listen, anything that you don't do normally is going to be hard. Okay? Like creating content, doing this at first was hard. Ultrasound at first, hard. X-ray at first, hard. Pole dancing at first, hard. Even with me returning back with the strength I have. Everything that you start out doing is hard. Okay? That's like the contract that you make. Especially when you want to make money, it's going to be hard. Just prepare yourself. It's going to be hard. You can rise to the occasion. You could do what's necessary and you're going to get it done. Internal ultrasound, we do them very often for like early pregnancies, vaginal bleeding, fibroids, IUD check. Um, I don't, the only patients that are really going to feel like some sense of pain is going to be the patients that, number one, they're already in pain. And then number two is going to be the older patients. Cause y'all, they be ordering internal ultrasounds on like 70, 80, 90-year-old women. Like really old women. And a lot of those women, they are not sexually active. A lot of those women are not sexually active. So you're going to be the first person that's been up inside of there in like 15, 20 years, and I hate that. I hate that. I feel so bad doing it on those older women who haven't been having intercourse. They haven't put anything up there. Oof. But thank God their uteruses are really small, because your uterus shrinks as you get older. Their uteruses are small. So, and if they had a hysterectomy, that's even better. I do travel ultrasound. I do. I don't do staph. I don't do staph. Especially I ain't got no kids. I ain't got no man. I'm not dealing with the damn politics of working at the same place. No, thank you. No, thank you. My mom's a nurse. More selfish, more narcissistic. You want to know what the harsh reality is? Success breeds narcissism. Success breeds narcissism. This is the reason why all of the people in power are narcissists. Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Kim Kardashian, all of the people that are wildly successful are narcissists. Success breeds narcissism. Actually, no. I would say the reverse. No, I was right the first time. Success breeds narcissism, because on the path to success, you have to be selfish. Like Shira Seven even made a video about it, and she was pretty much talking about like, you're weak when you're codependent on other people. And like, because Shira like fully admits that she's a loner. I'm a loner. You get things done quick. You get things done fast and efficiently when you're self-centered, when you only care about yourself and you don't really have anybody in your orbit. You get things done faster. We live in a world that rewards narcissism. That's just the harsh reality. We live in a society that rewards narcissism. That's why it is real. It's literally proven. You can look it up. You literally can look it up. People that are successful tend to have forms of narcissism. This is why a man that's a narcissist and he's broke, he ain't using his narcissism for the right things. He's using his narcissism for just for some labor. We live in a narcissistic world. If you're going to be a narcissist, you could be using it for something better than that. You could at least be using it to make money. And so this is the reason why the term narcissism has such a bad connotation to it. The reason why is because you have people being narcissists just willy-nilly. Like you just have narcissists being narcissists because they can be it. Not really for anything, that's like rooted in anything valuable. It's just people out here being narcissists just simply because they can. If you're going to be a narcissist and you're going to be full of yourself, what path are you on? What path are you on that's being beneficial for you to be on this path where you're focused on yourself? Because I mean, here we're gonna get the full version here. It says narcissism is a personality style characterized by a grandiose sense of self, a lack of empathy, a need for excessive admiration, and a sense of entitlement. Look at every powerful person. Are they not grandiose? Do they not have a high sense of self? Do they not have a lack of empathy? Do they not need a need for excessive admiration and a sense of entitlement? Obviously, this is on a spectrum. It's on a spectrum. Your level of empathy could be you exploiting a group of people and like not giving a fuck that they have to work in a sweatshop. You not having a lack of empathy for the fact that you're employing 13-year-olds to build an iPhone. Or maybe your lack of empathy could be coming from, not maybe your lack of empathy is coming from a place where you really don't feel bad for people who want to remain ignorant. Or maybe you don't have, or maybe you're a person where you don't want to have empathy for people who agree with oppression of your group. I'm sorry, I don't have empathy for people that want to keep marginalized groups of people oppressed. I don't have empathy for those people, because where's their empathy for the group of people that they believe should be oppressed? You know what I mean? So it's on a spectrum. It is. It's on a spectrum. Like, narcissism doesn't mean just like be an evil person. Narcissism, in my opinion, when it's on a scale, like, because it's on a spectrum, for me, narcissism is learning and understanding the discernment of like where you should give your energy and how much of that energy you're going to give out to other people. Like, I'm sorry, you should have a grandiose sense of self. Why? That sounds dumb to me. What is my thing about it is this: what is detrimental for a person to not have a grandiose sense of self? Because I'm going to go look up the term grandiose. Grandiose, impressive and imposing in appearance or style, especially pretentiously so. An exaggerated belief in one's own superiority, talents, and importance, often leading to an arrogant, self-centered, and entitled attitude. To me, that's being Delulu. You should be Delulu. You should be Delulu. People should hear the things that you want to achieve with your life, and they should be looking at you and they should be thinking, she isn't going to accomplish that. She's crazy. She's Delulu. Because in my opinion, I don't see how someone having a grandiose sense of self would be negatively impacting another person unless that person wants you to be a people pleaser. Unless that person wants to benefit you off of having a low self-esteem, not knowing your worth, not wanting more for yourself, not wanting to be the best, not wanting to aim high. That's, in my opinion, that's how I think about it. Because it's just alchemy. That's the thing about it. It's alchemy. People take evil and use evil to create more evil. People take evil and use evil to create more good. It's alchemy. The way, if you always have it in your brain of in narcissism, if narcissism, if you think this evil, terrible, like evil person is just kind of like, okay, well then that's always going to be your reality. You know what I mean? That's always going to be. The thing about it is that it's a pendulum swing. People have a pendulum swing mentality. Oh, well, if I'm not a narcissist, I have to be empathetic. But then when you're empathetic, you get pissed off because everybody's using you, because you don't understand duality. You don't understand that there is a time and place for you to have some more narcissistic traits. And then there are some times for you to have some empathetic traits. You cannot do a full pendulum swing. This is why I'm saying, like, narcissism, it's rooted in understanding, okay, what do I have to discern, and in what position and in what appropriate time is this type of behavior appropriate. Yeah, you need a degree. You have to go to college. And we've all had and like I said before, we've all had narcissistic parents because we live in a narcissistic environment. Successful people are narcissists. The whole concept of the reality that we live in is based on narcissism. It's very, very rare that you're not going to find people who are narcissists. You know what I'm saying? It's very, very rare. A part of patriarchy is built upon narcissism because it's rewarded. It's rewarded. When people have children, really no one is talking about them having children in the sense of how it's going to benefit the child, because there's no benefit to birthing a fucking child into this. There is no benefit. Not for the child. Not for the child. You mean you want a child to grow up and pay bills, work to pay bills, work to survive, work to live. No. They're giving reasons. I want the highest form of love. I want to give birth to someone that's going to show me what real love is. It's I want children for this. I want children for that. You're not thinking about the fucking kid. You just want to create an opportunity where you feel important. You just want to create an opportunity where you feel like you're doing something. You can do that. You literally could do those things without bringing some innocent person into the world. You literally could feel important by starting a foundation. You literally can feel important by doing help in your community. You can feel important by starting a business. You can feel important by getting an education. That's the reason why people that are in poverty are the ones to have the most children. People are in poverty. They're the most likely to have a lot of children because they don't have the resources. They don't have the financial means to do things that takes money and education to make themselves feel like they're making a difference in the world. Wealthy people don't have a lot of children because they have wealth to make a difference. They have wealth to feel important. They have wealth and education or influence or connections for them to feel important. So they don't have to go the route of having a child in order to create that feeling. That's why I said success breeds narcissism. To the poor person, having a child is a form of success. To them, they associate them being able to have children as a form of success. Because they don't have the means or the resources to do anything else. They don't have the resources to do anything else. And then this is how you have these narcissistic parents. This is when you are constantly being, gaslit. I put a roof over your head. I put clothes on your back. I didn't ask for you to do any of that. That's what you chose to do when you became a parent. Because they're doing this to be a ruler over something. They're doing this because you should be grateful. You should be grateful that they're successful in keeping you alive. They want you to bow down to them and make you feel as though they did you a favor, so that way they could feel like they're a success by keeping you alive. Like, no, you're not going to gaslight me. You're not going to gaslight me into believing that I should be happy with the fact that you kept me alive. That's what you're supposed to do. If you didn't keep me alive, you would fucking be behind bars. You would be in jail somewhere. Like, no. What's really happening is that they want you to feel grateful for the fact that they put themselves in a predicament in which they were struggling. And they didn't think that the picture was actually going to come out the way that it did. They didn't think that the predicament was going to come out that way. Like, no. Yeah, I'm not doing that. Hell no. A lot of mothers think like that. This is the thing. This is subconscious. This is subconscious. So this is not conscious thinking. Mothers are not really getting pregnant and they're over here like, yes, I'm going to get pregnant so I can rule over someone. I'm going to get pregnant because this is my form of success. No, this is subconscious. This is subconscious. People that are elevated understand how their internal is impacting their external. So they make decisions slower. So this is why you have more and more women that are becoming child free. More and more women are becoming child free because they're understanding, they're paying attention to their internal enough. They're understanding subconsciously, okay, why do I really want to have children? How would children benefit my life? How would children negatively impact my life? How is what having children, how is that going to make me feel? That's what it looks like for you to tap into your subconscious and understand why you're making a decision. Very few women are asking themselves these questions before they have a child. Most women are having children because it's just what you're supposed to do. It's just what you're supposed to do. You're just doing it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Oh, okay, 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 okay. Saying the same thing. Unless you can afford, she's now struggling. That's crazy. Ooh, that's crazy. Married, 2 children in California. Whew. That's another thing too. Y'all, that's another thing too. You couldn't I apologize. Y'all also got to realize too, when people this is the thing too, when people write a message and it's like vague, if I'm constantly going in the live stream and it's vague, we won't I won't even know in what reference like you're talking about it, especially when it's vague. I'm not going to know like what part or what way you're leaning to. I won't even know. So sorry about that. That's another thing too. I look at it like this. What is the point of being married? What is the point of struggling and you're married? That's my thing. When I hear people saying, "Yeah, I'm married and we're living paycheck to paycheck." So you mean that you're just a few inches away from homelessness and you over here you're forced to hold on to this relationship because on the other side of this relationship is homelessness? That's crazy to me. That's crazy to me. I kind of feel like if you're married to somebody and y'all are living paycheck to paycheck, just just throw the whole husband away. Throw the whole husband away. Oh no, you could girl, you could write a paragraph. You could write whatever. I don't care. Like, oh my God, when they're like, yeah, we're living paycheck to paycheck and we're struggling. I'm like, what was the purpose of you getting married then? Like, in my mind, I'm not trying to get married to no one. In my reality is going to be like, oh yeah, I'm married because I'm not homeless. Like, that's crazy. You could do bad all by yourself. You could be living paycheck to paycheck alone. And you ain't gotta roll, you ain't gotta, come home. You ain't gotta come home after a long day and after you don't work your 8 hours, your 12 hours, whatever. You ain't gotta go in your the bedroom y'all share and roll over, and some about to be snoring big belly man over here is like, I'm in the mood. You got some hard stick poke in your back. And it's just like, ugh, all that to not be homeless. I'll just go to a women's shelter. I'll just go to a woman and children's shelter. Mm-mm. Yeah, I wouldn't feel bad for her either. Like if they were in what this is another thing I don't understand. The habits before you the habits before you are going to be the habits that you're constantly cleaning up throughout the marriage. Did y'all see Nicole Kidman? Nicole Kidman has to she has to pay her ex-husband, like I think it's like 19 million or something. It's an absurd amount of money. It's an absurd amount of money because he was an alcoholic. He was an alcoholic, and so it was put in the prenup that Nicole Kidman would have to pay him $600,000 per year to remain sober. The clause is said to require Urban to abstain from drugs and alcohol, including Coca-Cola. Since Urban has reportedly been sober since 2006, the annual payments could add up over $11 million. Why are you paying someone money? Like Cecilia Regina said it. She said being a pick-me is expensive. Being a pick-me is expensive. You want a man so bad that you're willing to fund his lifestyle and pay money to reward him to do some shit that he shouldn't be doing. That is insane. Why would you you want a man that bad that you literally put it in a prenup that as long as you stay sober, I will pay you money. That's insane. Exactly. Nicole Kidman is paying $600 a year to babysit a man, and I don't have a man paying my bills. Christ. Exactly. He gets to be rewarded for not being an alcoholic. It's a sickness. It's a sickness. Yeah, it's because it's pretty recent. I think this news just broke of the prenup maybe like a few weeks ago. Yeah, like a month ago. Cuz that's crazy. Having to pay somebody that much money. Like, no. How do I get that arrangement? I'll start drinking tonight. Girl, you're gonna have to turn into Earl. You're gonna have to turn into Earl Jenkins. Turn into Earl Jenkins and find you a good pick Misha. Start your little drinking habit and you'll be taken care of. Yep. Go be Uncle Earl. Have a serenader and serenade a woman with a ton of alcohol on your breath. My coworker asked what my plans were for the week. If he asks any further, I'll ask for monies, girl. I'm telling you, you got a one question maximum. You got one question maximum before before I ask you when does the money get involved? When does the money start participating, sir? I'm ready. I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. That's actually a great question. That is a great question. I don't know if they were like testing like annually or something like that. I don't know what they were doing. I don't even know how they would like prove that over time. Um yeah, I don't know. And this is the thing about it. Nicole Kidman's net worth is $250 million. Keith Urbane's net worth is $75 million. That's crazy. Like, that's like 3 times more. Her net worth is 3 times more than his. And she was out here paying for a man to stay sober. Mhm. Men that this is the thing, men that are attractive, you know how men say like women that are BBLs are for recreational use only. Men that are attractive, they're for recreational use only. I mean, most men are for recreational use only, but it's like the thing about it is that attractive men are rare. So attractive men are going to be cheap. When I was a stripper and I saw an attractive man come into the club, usually I didn't talk to him. Usually I didn't talk to him because they're attractive. I mean, in most cases, they're not going to spend no money. It took for me to talk to like 4 attractive men at the club, and then for me to realize that they didn't pay a dance or tip once. They're not going to spend no money. So those are men, honestly. Those are men, in my opinion. Like, if you're gonna have fun with them, make sure you're on your contraceptive. Make sure that you're wrapping it up, strapping it up, because child, like, I'm sorry, okay. Even when I was stripping, like if I had a sugar daddy, I had to sleep with somebody that I was attractive with too. I'm sorry. I wasn't gonna live my whole life sleeping. I wasn't gonna live my whole entire life sleeping with Gilbert for money. Okay. I wasn't gonna sit here only having I need to have a person that I'm sleeping with and I can at least have flashbacks on. Ain't nobody trying to have no flashbacks. Nate, I'm in a bind. Huh. That'll be a nightmare if I have flashbacks on that. I don't want to have only my experiences be Nate, I'm in a bind. I gotta sleep with someone I'm attracted to too. That's gonna traumatize me if I'm only sleeping with men for money. Most of those men are hideous and old. So I would do both. I would sleep with somebody that I was attracted to, and then I would be dealing with men that were giving me money. You can have both. I promise you. You can have both. Just with the guy that's attractive, just don't talk to them. Don't be pumping their ego up more. Just be like, we're only gonna deal with each other when we're doing the do. I don't care about your day. I don't care about what else is going on with you. When I need you, I'll hit you up. All right. Best of luck to you. Yeah, that whole princess treatment, hell no. Mm-mm. No. You respond when I text you, and we don't talk otherwise. That's how I do it. that'll check his ego real quick, because when they're attractive, they're used to women fawning all over him and, oh my god, why didn't he text me, why didn't he text me? When they're attractive and they know that they're attractive, you should always care less, but you really got to care less if they're attractive. Like, you really got to care less. Because usually they try to mooch at every level. Exactly. Just stay detached. Stay detached and use them. Honestly, when they're attractive, my whole goal is like, I want to make this guy feel like I used him. Leave in the middle, leave in the middle of the act. If you return favors, leave before you can return the favor. I gotta go. I gotta go. I can't do this. You should do a crash course called Dating 101. This is valuable information. I probably should, huh? Yeah, them attractive men, you got to give them zero attention. You got to give them barely any attention. You got to, yeah. Yep, they can. There are men that, they're going to try magic and stuff like that. That's why I be telling y'all, it's going to be witchy stuff for me every time. You're not messing with me and my aura. Okay? Nope. I got a banishing spell ready. I keep a black candle on deck, child. A lot of those men are doing spell work on you while you're sleeping with them. A lot of them are doing spell work on you and you don't even realize they're doing spell work. You don't even realize they're doing spell work on you. The things that men, I can't obviously say it here on YouTube, but just be very mindful of things that like men want you to say in the bedroom. Like, it's yours. It's so cringe to me. Ugh, so cringe to me. And then the thing about it is that you wonder why men will do things to have ownership over you. You're already saying it in the bedroom. You're already saying it in the bedroom to them. That's witchcraft. That's witchcraft. They're using an energy exchange. They're using an energy exchange to groom you, to put you in ownership when you say stuff like that. Don't be saying it's yours in the bedroom. Don't be saying stuff like that. When they want you to say stuff, whose is it? It's mine. Exactly. Root work. They're over here trying to discombobulate you. They're trying to discombobulate you with the D and have you do all of this craziness. Don't participate. Do not participate. Be dead silent. He gonna be like, how come you weren't talking to me in the bedroom? Just be like, it was so good I couldn't hear nothing. See, be like, you were saying something, it was so good. I was in a whole nother universe. Yep. Like, I didn't know what you were talking about. Yeah, honestly, just don't do anything in excess with them. Why do men ask women to eat the groceries? Like, is it a humble spell? I don't know. No man's ever asked me to do that. But probably there's one content creator, I follow her and I'm friends with her on TikTok, Fashionably Divorced. She just made a video about that, eating the groceries. She is so funny. She's like in her 50s and she was married once, and she actually was married to a man of means, but she also was like very, very good at what she did. And he started getting jealous and they had divorced. But anyway, she had actually just did a story time about this. So she had said that she's like, listen, I love when men eat the groceries. Okay. I love when men eat the booty. She was like, I love it when they do it. She said that in her pick me days, this guy had pretty much convinced her to eat his. And so she did it. And she said that when she did it, she tasted something um bitter. She said she tasted something bitter and flaky and bitter. So I'm sure you can put two and two together. Okay. Yeah, she was like, she said it was definitely a humiliation ritual. She said it was super humiliating. She said it was horrible. She said it was horrible. Yeah, exactly. Because he definitely asked her to do that knowing that he didn't wipe. He definitely asked her knowing that. Mhm. Yeah, no, uh-uh. She's better than me. I would never ever confess to something like that in my life. Social media is therapy. Social media is freaking therapy for a lot of people. Um, I would never, child. I come from a healthcare background, so mm-mm. I'm already questioning about the appendage they got. I'm already like, that's got to be covered up. That has to be protected. What I'm not what I'm gonna use some dental dam back there or something. No. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. What a sad day to have ears. And my thing about it is this: it ain't like they got like nails or rings or um it ain't like they have any extra things. So it's just kind of like, come on. Yeah, I make them wash their hands too. I'm like, huh, I know you're not touching me with those paws, buddy. I know you're not touching me with those paws, buddy. Wash your hands. Let's make sure there's some brown going in the sink, cuz I know that there's your hands are dirty and I need to smell your hands too. I need to make sure that I can smell the scent of the soap on your hands. As a matter of fact, I'm going to watch you. We're going to do a hand washing demonstration. Because hell no. Hell no. I'm not mm-mm. Mm-mm. And women are just here like, "Oh, I don't care. I don't care." Root work is just anything where they destabilize you. Manipulating, gaslighting. There are so many like forms of root work, but I would say what we talked about earlier, that's like a very common way for men to get things quickly. Yep. Make them wash their hands and make them say the whole entire alphabet. If you say the alphabet when you wash your hands, that's the amount of time that they need to be washing their hands. But y'all, I'm gonna get off of here. I stayed here for quite a long time. This was a good, really good live stream. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. I got the Patreon, I got all that stuff in my link tree, in my bio. And I'll talk to you guys next time. I'll be on here tomorrow. Okay. I'll be on here tomorrow. Um, Thinking I'm pretty much gonna just start live streaming at the same time, 12 o'clock. I like streaming at this time, especially because like people are on lunch and stuff like that. Just a good time to escape. So yes, I will talk to you all next time. Bye.